baby is born, we all get to go home.
You need to decide right now who you are.
This place, it doesn't give, it takes.
Are you okay?
No, I don't think any of us are gonna be.
You said that you weren't going to let this place break you. This place is one.
Yo, people, what is up? What is going on? Welcome. Big Ford is in the house with my homie Brian in the house as well. From is over, but we ain't done yet. Brian, where can they find you, sir?
Hey, I'm part of Spoiled Kings. We go live Monday and Thursday, and now Saturday is doing the Silo review. I think we're on episode 4 for this week. I actually got a shout out from Hugh Howey, who wrote the Silo books. So I was like, hey, all right, we're doing something right.
Absolutely. And maybe you can get him to come on the show and talk about it. That would be
exactly
great.
That's what I was telling him. He only has like a few thousand subscribers. I was like, hey man, come on.
Facts, 100%. And I've been trying to get someone from to come on for so bad, like anybody. You know what I mean? I actually want Harold, but I'll take anybody right now, to be honest.
It doesn't matter who it is, because the show is that good, and even critics know how good this show is, how well it's been put together from scene 1 of season 1.
Facts. I agree with you 100%. Well, we are here because, as I said, we are going to figure out this show before season 4 hits. Yes, that is correct. I have a bold statement, but this is what we are going to do here today. And we're going to go through season 1, season 2. Maybe we'll revisit season 3. Who knows? But we did get a lot of answers in season 3. But we still got questions. We still got a lot of questions to ask. Who's the boy in white? Who's the man in yellow? You know what I mean? So we're going to try and figure out all those answers until season 4 comes.
I want to know what Elgin thinks. So you're not home. What do you think?
Fact.
Can you see that you're still here? I'm just saying.
His eye is gone. So far, it looks like he's still alive. And if he is, just imagine what that season 4 for him is going to be like. It's not going to be all peaches and cream. I can tell you that 100%. Keisha is in the house. She said, good evening. Happy to see you guys as always. Very excited for the rewatch. Absolutely. So, Brian, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did. So I watched it twice. And I thought it was really important to kind of look at this because they always, the writers always said all the answers were right at the beginning. So it's like, we don't know what we're seeing, but they're right there. So there's scenes where I'm seeing these monsters that I haven't seen anywhere else. I'm like, wow, why are they there? Why are they here now? And why don't I see them later? And I'm wondering if time is going in reverse for them too. So like, there's so many questions. The more I watch, the more I have more questions.
That is correct. And I got a chance to take a look at it too as watching it. Nakisha said, too soon for Elgin jokes. That poor man. It's
he was wrong at the end of the day. We all get to go home. unless his answer is you are home.
Fact.
You ain't going nowhere.
Facts. Because it's never too soon for Elgin jokes. Elgin done messed up. He's not invited to the cookout. Didn't listen to his grandma. He did some crazy ass crap. So yeah, Elgin.
These angels look like problems. I don't know, man. That lady is scary as hell. You think that's an angel?
100%. So majority of the questions, or a lot of the questions, were answered. So we can take the reincarnation stuff off the table because that's been answered, right?
Yep.
Julie being like a time jumper or whatever. So that's something we definitely need to explore. Also, time travel, right? Because you can go back to these episodes and like, was that a case of time travel? Or you know what I mean? Because
was this actually happening sequential like we think it happens? Are you sure it went sequentially? Maybe that monster that knew Julie knew her from the past when she already time jumped. or maybe Julie jumped in to Fromville before she actually got there. That's how they knew her.
Facts. Because that creature did call out her name. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, Julie, you don't remember me? So I'm with you on that one. I'm like, it's possible that she's jumped so many times. She may have come across that creature. You know what I mean? And we just haven't seen it yet. So as you watch this episode, did it bring up any more questions for you? Or did you find any answers?
I didn't find any answers, but I realized how important the Matthews family really was, because that really is a jumping off point for all of us. Understanding that, Jim, Jim and Tabitha. Tabitha's a problem. We are blinded by Jim's stupidity.
Hmm.
That not to see that Tabitha is the real problem.
Hmm.
So she's a problem because she's been there so many times. She's a problem in the family. She's the problem. Jim's just stupid, and Jim is
100%.
gone.
100%. Because even when you watch this episode back, you can see she's just in this, like, you know what I mean? Jim says, oh, I remember when, things used to be out with us. And she's like, don't start. You know what I mean? So from there, I was like, okay. And that kid, I'm sorry, first episode, Ethan is annoying as hell. I was like, no, no, this kid is even more annoying than I thought it was, you know? And I watched it
Those
back and
stories, but those
Hmm?
stories are interesting because the Kramanako and all those things that they talked about, kind of really mirror more season 2 and 3 of the monsters. Those monsters kind of changed into those things, which made me think about, is he really the man in yellow? Because they're following his story that
Hmm.
his father and Jim and Tabitha kind of talked to him about. So it did open a lot more things that could be going on for me overall. Um, even from the first night of how joyous the town was until they got there, until specifically Tabitha got there.
Hmm.
It's like the city, like they were waiting. Fromville was waiting for her to get there.
I agree because the way it started, right? You had what's her name, the little girl Megan. She got killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, new people came in, and there's a new kid in the town. So there's also a part where Boyd is talking to Ellis, and he's like, "Oh, do you remember?" And he says the mom's name, and he's like, "Yeah, I remember. She's the one." And they never finished that. So is she
Yep.
the one that what? Right? That's a question that we haven't got answered as well. So that's very interesting as well. What was she there? Was she a I wouldn't say she's reincarnated somebody because obviously Tabitha is there, but she's definitely was important to that role and she got killed, right? So
Also, oh, go ahead. Read Nikisha's.
absolutely. Keisha said the story that Julie told Ethan made me think that Julie will be the one who tells the dead kids the story of hope the same way she gave Boyd the rope. Ooh, that's interesting. What are your thoughts?
I love that. The idea that, because Julie's going to be the time jumper, so she's going to see her mother through multiple lenses, realizing that's the same almost entity is still her mother. So she's going to be able to go jump back and help through scenes, but I don't think that the answer is going to be in the past. All she's going to do is do the things that he says someone told the kids and gave them hope, and then create the trees. All those things that we already know that happen are going to be Julie. Julie's going to be doing it, talking to the kids. Julie's going to be the one, trying to hold the town together, tell them to hide, all those things. Julie's going to be the one actually doing that. And we don't know she's always been there, but she's been there through all the scenes.
That's very interesting, but that kind of breaks my theory of what I have for the video that I still haven't put out there yet. But
Oh, okay.
it's coming. You know what I mean? Recording everything, just gotta edit it and stuff like that. But kind of breaks that theory. So because I have a whole picture of how the it went down. Right now, it
Hmm.
could be possible that Julie was the one that did it. I still think it's Miranda though, or the original Miranda that told them the story. So we'll see how that part goes. Definitely.
My problem with that is, like, if she got close enough to them to tell them the story, then why the hell did she not release them?
Good point.
That was my question. And it was like, if that's the case, then and you're trying to get them to release them, then why? And you didn't succeed. Then why? If you told them the story, then why didn't it work?
Which would kind of make sense, right? That Julie couldn't free them because Ethan's story was
She
basically
can't
you
change
can't change
anything.
what's been written.
Exactly. So she can't change anything, but she told them that story. That then when they died, put their soul into the trees and the roots and all those things. And we're going to find out that that sign that the crossing roots means something more.
I agree with you. I think it's more than just the roots, right? I think there's definitely a lot more to it than that. So I agree with you. But I watched it too, and I'll bring it up here. I personally didn't. I didn't think I found anything that was different. You know what I mean? I even went through the opening song, and I tried to find to see if there was some hints in the pictures. And I'm just gonna try and bring them up real quick because
Oh, that'd be so good.
I know it starts after this part right
Also, the thing that Boyd said to the guy who had his family uh eating I mean, but family, a man protects his family. And that has been Boyd's mantra.
Yes,
In every season, all you protect your family. A man does that. And now he doesn't say a
absolutely.
man protects the town. He says the man protects the family. I thought that
Yes,
was pretty interesting.
absolutely. And which one thing I liked about that too is because when we get to the season, that's exactly what he did. He was trying to protect Fatima, and he was trying to protect Ellis. You know what I mean? So you're
Hmm.
definitely going to try to protect the family. So the first picture that they show is a car, the trees,
Hmm.
and the crows. The crows definitely represent something. We just haven't figured that out yet. So, what do you think the crows are there for?
The more before I thought that they were like danger, they're like death and all that stuff. I believe they were a warning. They were a warning before you get to this point to keep going, push through, don't stop here. And they were a warning, a omen.
I agree. I think that there's once you see the crows, it's probably too late. But I'm with you on that one. It's possible, you know what I mean? Like they're trying. You got to get out of here. That could be a warning to them. There's something more to them, and I think there's something that's said, which I just can't remember it right now about the crows. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I completely forgot to write the stuff down. So that's the first picture they show.
And then we see the
Okay.
trees.
Yep. Again. So right here now. When they show that one, it's obviously the okay because we've seen the dog one time before. Hold on, let me go
Hmm.
back. Let me go back. 1 second. I muted it because the song will
Yeah.
definitely cause a copyright, guys. So just so you know. Hey, Blasted TV, what's up? I'm obsessed with this show. Yeah, I know
Obviously
the
we are
feeling.
too.
100%. Hey, PM, how you
Yeah.
doing? Thank you for popping in. Much appreciated. Always a pleasure. So I'm guessing this is because the dog is there, right?
Yep.
So someone owned the dog, right? And I think
Yep.
these pictures tell us a little bit, right? Where the dog ends up going and how it just pops up out of nowhere and then never seen again. But obviously, someone in there had a dog. So they were in the town and they brought a dog with them.
I don't
So,
know. What's interesting is that he's in yellow.
mhm,
Looks happy in the town. Doesn't you don't see all the rest of the houses or anything like that. You only see trees and that one house.
fact.
So I don't know if this is the beginning of the story of the man in yellow.
Ooh, very
He was
nice.
happy once, right?
Hmm.
And I had my mother, I had my dog, and all this stuff, and we were happy. And then these people start moving in, and this is what made me upset.
That's interesting. My only issue with that is the clothes, right? I think the man in, and again, his clothes are a little bit more dated when you see it and when you see him come up again, because everybody seems to have like clothes from the 1600s, and there's no that suit definitely not from that time. So I think that's a little bit of a clue as to his clothes. But then again, I'm like, okay, if his clothes are updated, then that would mean he wasn't there in the original sacrifice with someone else.
Or it's time travel again. Once again, maybe he was there in this place before anyone else did anything, and then these when they killed their sacrificed their children, that brought them there.
Hmm.
So that I'm wondering if his story is somehow what's actually what we actually are seeing. Now we think it's Victor. We think it could be the boy in white, but it really might be the man in yellow. And we are seeing his story from the beginning.
That's interesting. That's very interesting because again, it does have a yellow shirt. You know what I mean to match the jacket. Maybe yellow is his favorite color. We're definitely going to get more interesting information on that. But Blasted TV said, "Is that the man in yellow in the picture?" I don't know. It's definitely, it's definitely to me before the massacre, before Tabitha and them came in there. So which generation it is, I'm not 100% sure yet. I mean, she's wearing a flower dress. That could be from any decade, to be honest with
Mhm.
you. He looks like he's wearing jeans and a long yellow shirt. So that's kind of an interesting thought there. So that's one of the second pictures we showed.
Trees again.
Yeah.
Will I be handsome? And you see this now
So
teenage guy
yes,
looking very upset. Still in those
yes,
trees,
yes.
but very upset.
And old, right? This don't look like a little boy in yellow. So that goes to that boy in white. So that
That was
goes
a good
to
point.
me when Sarah says, "I don't think he's a boy." I'm like, okay, so it makes sense that maybe he was an adult and then ended up showing himself as a child to be more accepting to people, right? Because if
Mm.
you see a child, you're going to be like, oh, it's a child, a harmless child, something like that. So he's showing up to them as a
What if
as a boy.
what if the boy in white and the man in yellow are the same person?
You
And
see,
it's
here's the
all
thing.
about the story. And we're seeing a transformation, like how it goes on and on and on and on.
So he's saying the man in yellow, the man in white could be the good side of the man in yellow.
I'm saying that they're the same person from different time periods, and it's part of his evolution. He was born into this, into Fromville. He was born into it, and he's gone from jaded, like from trusting to jaded. And the more jaded he gets because people can't get out, the more he just realize I'm gonna be part of the story. I'll be the evil one, but not realizing you're the same evil one that's causing them to not be able to leave.
Interesting. Carlos said, I always think his lips look like a bird. Ah,
I see a crow. I see a crow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I see it too. I see it too. So again, here's my theory, because again, this show has a lot of beats of Lost. I think the boy in white is pretty much like Jacob. I think the man in yellow is the man in black, the smoke, right? And I think that the man in yellow has to kill, or someone has to kill the boy in white for the man in yellow to fulfill the destiny that he's supposed to fulfill. So I think the boy in yellow is like a deterrent. You know what I mean? Like a last step. And I have a feeling that there's a possibility that he's going to try and convince somebody to try and now they'll ask, well, how do you kill the boy in white? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, right? But again, how do you kill these monsters? How do you
Yeah,
kill
he would
this? How
know.
do you kill that?
He would know
Yes,
though. Maybe
yes,
it's a specific way to do those things. You have to
yes.
take him onto the rock. You have to sacrifice him on the top of a
Interesting.
mountain. You know, something like that.
Because I always said when Sarah had that vision and it was like, "Oh, you need to kill the boy," I started questioning on whether it was Ethan or the actual boy in white that they were telling her to kill, which again kind of beats the purpose because she's never really seen the boy in white, right?
Mhm.
So, but then again, to me, the fact that she never seen the boy in white could be the reason why she thought it was Ethan and not the boy in white. You know what I mean? Because she never seen the boy in white. So this demon is saying kill the boy, when it's actually talking about kill the boy in white. And she was like, oh, well, the only boy here is Ethan. So that's definitely something I think could be a possibility. Okay, so here, right here, you have a doll, you have a little girl with her arm cut off,
Hmm.
right? So you know she's missing an arm, and we know that these things usually we think we these usually things open up your chest and take whatever's inside. We don't know what they did with it. So the fact that she got her arm cut off there and there's a teddy bear shows me that something else happened there. Could be the man in yellow.
Mm.
I think kill the boy means kill Victor. Could be it could be Victor too. It's just Victor's not a boy anymore. That's why I'm like kind of iffy on the Victor stuff. Now, his mind is still like a boy, which could
Mm.
be a possibility too. But I've also seen like Victor has, as you would say, Nikisha, which is plot armor, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
not really sure it's Victor either. I just have I personally think it might be the boy in white. And that's the
What's interesting, you also see that the face was messed up there. So like they
yes,
destroyed her face.
yes, yes. And I was gonna say, um, also because of a lot of the beats in Lost, this is why I come up with that now. It could be totally different. I'm just like so far it's like there's so many beats that are similar to Lost. I'm
Mhm.
like, maybe this is something, you know what I mean? 'Cause are the same, they're kind of taking the beats, right? So this is another picture. Now, the eye is missing, right?
Only one eye is missing.
Yes, yes. So what is it about the eye?
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
can't
mean?
see unless you lose your eye. You can't see the because one eye is an all-seeing eye, right? The one right in the
Yeah.
middle. So maybe when you lose the eye, you actually can see more.
So here's the question though, right? So far, the only person that lost an eye right now is Elgin. Now, if you take this picture and it's a sign, does that mean Elgin is gonna die by one of the creature's hands?
You could after you no longer your use, you outlived your use, so now you could die.
Right? But okay, so would that mean that Elgin is a reincarnation of somebody that was in the town already?
Could, but all we know is that all the bad people wouldn't kill everyone in the town originally, and we had Jade and Tabitha. Their character overall is the only one trying to save the kids. Are there other people in the town that people getting reincarnated?
That's what I'm saying. I believe so because we talked about this with Julie and stuff, and we'd say that I don't think everybody in the town is reincarnated, but I think certain of the main characters are. So I believe Elgin could be a reincarnation of somebody, right? Now again, we've seen Jade have visions of, a dude pinned to the tree through his eye. So that could be something there too. But just the fact that they're showing this person with the eye and the chest open, I'm kind of more on the lines of that could be a reincarnation of Elgin, or Elgin could be a reincarnation of that, and we could be seeing what's going to happen to.
In every reincarnation, he loses one of his eyes.
Right? Because I don't see how he lasts any further. Right? He's, you know what I mean? Like his hand is fucked up, his eye is gone. Like, yeah, send me out to the creatures, boy. Just put me out there at nighttime and let them have me, cause I don't want to live like this anymore.
I don't know if they're going to follow Boyd anymore, but that's something we'll get to
Or
later.
or maybe they put him in the box
Exactly.
for what he
That's
did.
where I think they put him in the box.
Yeah, yeah. I think they put
And
him
it's
in the
so
box
funny that
as well.
he's in the box and Sarah's sitting there in her house.
Exactly.
That's messed up.
Well, you know how they do the black men in these shows,
Exactly.
right? I would
But
wonder
she
if
killed
that.
too many people. And it's like, nah, too
Yeah, no,
bad.
I know. Yeah, I know. But she saved a few too. You know what I mean? And Elgin ain't saving nobody with no hand and no eye. So you know what I mean? I wonder if that pick is Elgin, but that isn't 4C hair. Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, you're right.
But that's the thing. Does the person have to be reincarnated as the same ethnicity? You know what I
No,
mean?
probably not. Yeah. Look at
I
Tabitha.
don't.
She, there's no doubt in my mind that she was white in the in the beginning of the
Facts.
town because
Facts.
everyone there was white, right? So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way,
Facts.
you know.
Facts.
So you know, I'm just saying you don't have to be the same ethnicity all the time.
Fact. That's why he had dreams before going there. Exactly. Blasted. Right. That's what I'm saying. So
Makes
I
sense.
think a lot of the people that had dreams before they got there were probably reincarnated, you know? Now, we did see Ethan have a seizure when he gets to the town. He has a seizure, but I don't think that has anything to do with him being reincarnated, right? That could be just, you know, I don't know, maybe he's important to the town or something like that. Because I think it's either
Or
you
this is
see
the
the
oldest son. Maybe her oldest
yes,
son is always the most important thing. It's like
right.
Victor is the most important. Now Ethan is the most important. Like
Yes, yes,
the oldest son that she has in that whatever life is the most important thing to the person, to the entire detail. And she realizes in those kids are already dead, but the kids that she has to save are her own. So if she would have
yes,
figured out at the beginning when they're saying, "Hey, focus on your kids," if she would have done that, everyone would have got out. I think could be something that we find out later.
100%. It's the left eye that's missing like Elgin, but everyone else who lost an eye, it's the right eye.
Right on.
Wonder if that means something. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I think again, because like Brian said earlier in the show, that they said that, you know, a lot of the
All
answers and
pieces.
clues are in these. I think the first season, I'm not gonna say the first episode, but definitely the first season. And I think some people caught a lot, and I think we missed a lot, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I never seen anybody do is, and I'm not saying they didn't, I just never seen them like break down the pictures like constantly. Because now I gotta go back and we're gonna do this. So remember this, right? We're gonna remember because I want to see if those pictures actually change in season two's opening, right? So if anybody in the chat um remembers, you could tell me that. So
Now, see that body burning.
yes,
That's
yes,
interesting.
yes. What do you think
Yeah.
that is?
So, who did we see burning? Did
Who did we see?
did um did they burn Boyd's wife?
I don't know if they burnt her, but I know
Or did he bury? They must have buried her because he has a
they
tombstone and
they burnt Smiley though.
that's interesting.
They burnt Smiley though. And I would say I was gonna say maybe it was the sacrifice kids, but no, we see that one of them had a hole in the head. So they probably, you know, off them with something to do with their head and stuff like that. So the fact that they're showing this burning, the only person I remember them burning was the corpse of Smiley, which is very interesting there. Now
Didn't they
this
burn Kenny's mom? Chin.
it's possible.
Didn't they burn her? They threw
It's
like
po-
a light on her, and then she's the only one.
yeah, I think so. Now this
The
picture right
boogeyman.
here, the boogeyman, right?
They're
Now
hiding
again,
under the bed.
we can look at it as two different ways, right? We can look at it as that being just a kid drawing those creatures that are hanging out, you know, in the forest or whatever, because they would see them as boogeyman. I think that's the big bad. Because I think, and again, it's gonna go into my video enough, but I think that that creature, we're going to see it when they show the flashback of what happened to the kids. The man in yellow, to me, was a regular man who was possessed after doing that, and I think that's the creature that possessed the man in yellow. That's why his eyes are black, you know what I mean? Now, why his clothes are different, again, I'd have to come up with something there for that, right? Because, again, his clothes look a lot more updated than the 1605 clothes that happened in the original timeline. So, maybe he changes clothes every time he's reborn or something like that. I don't know. But at the
Or
end
there's
of
a
the
death,
yes,
or it's death, and death
yes,
comes for us all. No matter you can hide, you know, you could be a child, and death comes for you all.
Facts. 100%. So if you look at this picture real close, you see someone hiding under the bed, and then you see these little hands or whatever, like another creature is coming up the stairs. That's interesting because that would mean it's in the house, and we know they weren't hiding in the house before the
Someone
tower
had to
fell,
open the door.
or someone had to open the door. Interesting. What else do we have? Do we have any more of these pictures? Let me see.
So that could also been a monster, or it could have been another person trying to come save.
Absolutely. Absolute 100%. Now we have this eye.
All seeing eye.
Interesting. 'Cause I was just about to say I don't know, which would mean it's the man in yellow's eye because he's been seeing everything that's pretty much been going on, right? He was the
But
one
it's
that caught.
purple.
Huh?
It's purple.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Go ahead. Thoughts on it?
No, thinking, what would cause the eye to be purple? Is it? Are you saying that it's a demon? Is it something special about it that you can see? Or
Hmm.
if it's someone from the outside that's just looking in, that can't affect anything, but they're looking in.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Said after watching Madness, I don't think I can think about From anymore. What's Madness? Make
It's
it
a show
simple.
on Netflix. I know that.
Is it?
Yeah.
And I know someone was telling me to watch a show on there. I think that could have been it. I'm not sure. Third Man said, I have a theory based on what you just said on Zos. Okay, so what's your theory? What if the monsters are killed? They get modern clothes. That means they've been killed before. There's a way to kill them, and they were reborn in the. That's what I said. That's
Oh,
exactly what I said there, man. You know what I mean? Were you watching the show a couple days ago? I said the reason why their clothes keep getting updated is
that's an
because
eye.
someone dies, right? And obviously, when they die, they burn them or whatever with the clothes they have on, so they can't wear those clothes anymore. So they got to pick new clothes, which shows me that I think in each time that the town was reborn, there was a different creature that died. So this time it was Smiley. Last time it could have been the nurse. The other time it could have been the cowboy, right?
Hmm.
So I think every time it's reborn, one of the creatures dies. It's just not always the same one, which would make sense because in Miranda's time, we see that it's Smiley that kills Miranda, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's obviously that he wasn't the one that died at that time. So I think that's definitely something interesting. So they don't have 1880 clothes. No, I think that's what they started off with, Nerdman, right? And then they died, and then they picked up some more clothes,
But
and I
when they
think
killed everyone, now you can pick up any clothes.
yes, exactly, exactly. And because they've been killing this town for over and over and over again, right? Which I'm gonna say, and we didn't get to it yet, but we will get to it when we get to that episode where there's one scene where Tabitha looks up and she sees a bunch of dates. I think each date represents a new cycle, a new time Miranda and Jade were
I think
born.
that's exactly right too.
Yeah, yeah. So that makes sense. Obviously, I didn't hear that by me. I heard that as someone else, and I said, "Yeah, that makes more sense." So just so nobody's
So
sitting
that
there
you
and say,
saw the attic, you saw them looking out the window. You wonder if the eye that was looking out, seeing everything, was the eye looking out the window.
exactly. Now, this is the stuff where it gets into your Garden of Eden stuff, right?
Yep.
I look at that picture and I see Ellis and Fatima.
I see
What?
Boyd.
Oh, Boyd and his wife.
Boyd and someone. It
Huh?
doesn't have to be his wife.
Huh? That's
What if it's Boyd and Tabitha? What if we find out that everything we thought was right is wrong? That Jade is actually the evil part.
that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Jade is playing that evil part because of what not Charlie, Christopher did, right?
Christopher. Mhm.
So I think he's playing that part. I just don't think he's gonna actually do the evil stuff in this one. But what's your theory?
What if Tabitha and and Boyd have to be the ones to save everybody.
Hmm.
They're the two that have to be the ones to save everyone. And from the beginning, they're telling us in the first show, these are the two most important people.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I definitely think that Boyd, 100%. I know it's like, oh, well, Jade, you know what I mean? He's Christopher, and Tabitha's Miranda, and they've been coming back over and over again, which is possible. But like you said, could one be good and one be bad, right?
And say,
And
oh, we never can break through. And to find out that Jade is the reason why they never break through. He's the reason. He tells the other people beforehand. He sets them up.
Mhm.
And she never knows because she dies before the truth comes out.
Interesting, very interesting. Um, I do think that Boyd is going to have a role, 100%. Boyd is going to he's gonna it just doesn't make sense that all of a sudden now Boyd is not there to save everybody. You know what I mean? It's just like a side character to the things that are going on. I think Boyd is way more important than we think. Maybe Boyd is the one that convinces them or convinces Jade that you got to do the right thing. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So I don't know
Mhm.
what you think about that.
No, I like that. I mean, I know the story really centers around Boyd, so Boyd has to be important, and Boyd has to be the sacrifice. And maybe Tabitha is trying to sacrifice herself, and Boyd is the one who steps in and says, "No, these kids have been through enough." Between Julie time traveling and Ethan doing all his stuff, and Victor losing his mother and father and all this other stuff, that he says, "I'm going to be the sacrifice,"
Hmm.
and that allows them. The story revolves around those two.
Which makes sense because I do think that Boyd might not get out of there alive, and if
I think he
that's
doesn't
the case,
care. Yeah.
right, it's gonna be in the final season, of course, right? It's gonna be the final season, and then we're gonna find out, Boyd sacrifices himself to help everybody get out of there. Maybe he keeps the man in yellow distracted because we know it's all gonna go down, right? They're gonna have to find some way to fight that man in yellow, and I don't see how it's gonna happen yet. So Boyd might have to sacrifice to buy time for
Mhm.
Tabitha and Jade to do what they have to do. So I could definitely see that happening. Nerman said, "No, I think Boyd came up with killing the children." What do you mean? Boyd is the reincarnation of the man in yellow. No,
Why
no,
you trying to
no.
make Boyd evil, man?
You know what I mean? Like the other streamer here, people talking about Boyd's death, and now we're talking about turning Boyd evil. Nah, we're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Come on, there, man. Right
But a
there.
lot, yes.
Once again, in yellow, in blue jeans, the same kid who was there with his mother first time. No kid, no sister, no any of that other stuff. It was just him, his mother, and his dog. Now the kid is left alone. Same kid, same outfit, and all the darkness is coming. What
You
if
know
it's
what?
the man in yellow?
That's
What if
kind of
this is his story of how this happened?
huh. That's interesting because when I looked at that first, I was like, "Oh, that's just probably when Boyd was stuck in the tunnel." But now that you broke it down, I'm like, "Yeah, the same yellow shirt, same jean as the picture with the boy and the girl with the flower dress, and now it's in darkness." And I can't. The only thing is the way the picture is. It's hard to tell if this person is lying down or a bed or is it stuck in something.
Or be engulfed by all the darkness?
Well, yeah, that too. That too. Which again would make me say again, that's the shadow creature going to possess the man in yellow when they did the sacrifice for the kids, right? I definitely could see that. That's interesting. There. So we have this now. Creature's eyes bleeding, blood coming out of the mouth.
Mhm.
I think that's a creature though.
Me too.
I yeah, I definitely think that's a creature. Now why the eyes would be bleeding, I don't know. But I could see the mouth, blood and stuff if they were eating the organs from the people. I could see that being one of them. So, interesting. picture.
So wait, go back to that one.
Yeah, I was just about to. So first, there's this one I wanted to get to. I don't know what the hell or who the hell that is supposed to be. Is that a tail? Does it look like there's a
It
tail
sure
there?
does. I don't know what that is.
Right? It looks like that's a tail. Unless it's just of drawing some kid, but I mean, if it's a tail, what are we in for? What are we going to see? I'm curious.
Demons
Yeah, there's another
right there.
creature.
Yeah. Now that monster, right? Is he
Uh-huh.
wearing the yellow shirt?
Looks kind of orangish, I'm guessing. But the way the mouth is, I think that's Smiley.
It does look like
Yeah.
Smiley. I like that. That's a good theory.
You know what I mean? Because like all the creatures that they showed so far, the mouths were kind of normal, but the way that mouth is open like that, I think someone drew Smiley in that picture. But there's this one. Fuck this.
The demons evil that are there. I'm just telling you, it's evil, natural evil.
So again, do you think that's what the possession is, right? Because again, I still have to come up with this that the man in yellow was possessed by something. And I'm not sure if what it was possessed by is the big bad or it's like a soldier that's trying to be the big bad, right? And I know I seen a lot of people say that, and I just want you to know, guys, I didn't get that from nobody. I said that first. I said that first. I don't care what anybody wants to say. I said that first. I said the demon. I think that the man in yellow was possessed. That's why the eyes were black. I said at the end of that episode. You go back and watch it. God, I hope I'm telling the truth 'cause I know I said it, but yeah, I
That's a
did say
true
it.
supernatural thing. When you saw supernatural, is either the man in yellow with the yellow eyes or black eyes. Black eyes when you were possessed by a demon.
Yes, 100%. You know what I mean? Could one of the monsters could be one of the monsters when their face changed? Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
That
It
too.
makes sense.
Don't you have to be dead to be reincarnated? Yes. Yes. Yes, you do. So what we're saying is that Boyd, what? Yeah, that's correct. So that theory that Nerd Man made doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
right? Because Boyd would have to be dead to be reincarnated as the man in yellow. So definitely that don't make sense.
But could that be death also still chasing you? Still chasing after the boy in yellow. Death is still chasing him. And he found a way
Ooh,
to get around it. And the way to get around it, he became a monster. And death
interesting.
is still coming afterwards, and he's still trying to figure it out.
Interesting. What else do we have?
All that blood.
Hmm. Now it ends with the sign, right, for the pool and everything, and we already know that there is no damn pool. You know what I'm saying? There's no hotel.
Does it
I
say
think
vacancy?
I it doesn't light up because the way they have it, so it doesn't really show if there's a vacancy or not. But yeah, I'm beginning to think that maybe that missing hotel could be like a portal or something. I don't know.
Only way home. You do it and it releases you.
I could definitely see that too as well. Uh, just like you were the one that came up with doing the reviews, you're such a grifter, Anzo. You lie with every. No, man, shut the hell up, bro. What are we doing here? Have y'all thought about breaking down the lyrics too? Yes, 100%. 100% I have. The only thing that I come up with the lyrics is "Que sera sera," whatever will be, right? And I think that's the most important line in that series because Lost had one of those same kind of lines. What happened happens, right? So whatever will be. I believe is telling us that whatever's happening is happening, which goes to Ethan telling Julie that you can go back and see the story, but you can't change it. So
I like that.
that's yeah,
I
that's
still
where
think they're still telling the story. It's telling the story of the man in yellow. When I was just a little boy, my mama came and said to me, you know,
could be. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like I feel like it's the story of what he's went through, and we're gonna find out it's all about him.
Definitely, because I 100% believe that the lyrics to those songs mean something 100%. And then there was even another one, right? So this I'll play a little bit.
So now he has a son, and he says now I'm the father, and he's asking me, and I'm telling the same thing.
Mhm, 100%. So this song at the beginning, right? Now, my girl, you're so young and pretty. You'll be dead before your time is due.
I
Who
know.
could, you know what I mean? You'll be dead
Uh,
before your time is due. Could that
This
be
is why
talking?
that could be also be that little girl.
Yeah, it could be, or it could be talking about the sacrifice kids, right? Your little girl, your time is you're gonna be done before you agree. Um, I agree. That's why I don't foresee a happy ending here. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I thought of deconstructing the lyrics on, so I have it on stream. Never mind. I send you the link, eh? Because I know you're just gonna cry, cry, cry. Oh, you didn't send me the link, so I send you the link. Maybe the man in yellow is the child that survived. You guys are good. Listen, all right. So we don't really have that much people here, so I can still make the video.
Yeah,
Again,
it's to tell the you know, we only got like 15 people, 13 people, 14.
right. Again, so I think here's what I think. I think the man in yellow was there. He was from the beginning. He was there. He's either a cult leader or a fake prophet, a man of God, and he tricked his followers to kill their kids. Right? He said, "Okay, we're going to sacrifice our kids because we're going to get eternal life and maybe something else." Right? I don't think it was just about eternal life, which they did. But I think when they did, the demon that they unleashed ended up possessing the man in yellow. The boy in white is the good side that has helped people. So we gotta we gotta really think and understand that something happened to stop the man in yellow. Even though Miranda and those every time they died, right, and they failed, whatever they did at least stop the man in yellow, right? To the point where he keeps coming back when that song is played. And I believe it is that song. I believe that song has
Even though
something
they
to
tricked
do with it.
themselves into doing that,
What's that?
even though they tricked they the ones that played the damn song to bring the man in yellow back, you know.
Y- Yeah, again, I think we're gonna find out that maybe they weren't supposed to play that song. I don't know because at the same time, them playing that song brought the kids over there so I think it may be one and the same. You can't play the song
Without
without
one,
having
without the other.
yeah, exactly, right? So no matter what they do, they play the song, they're gonna remember, but it's also gonna bring this guy into the town. So I believe that whatever they did,
Wasn't
I
necessary.
yeah,
Okay.
right, right. And whatever they did in the original timeline to because they didn't save the kids, but I believe they may have sacrificed themselves to stop the man in yellow, right? And that's why he only comes back at a certain time or when the song is played. Now, in this time, they're going to have to they're going to have to find a way to stop him, maybe without sacrificing themselves, right? Because if they do that, then it's just gonna
Just
be a
starts all
cycle
over
all
again.
right, exactly. That's my theory. Could be wrong, but that's what I think. I think that the man in yellow has been there from the beginning and he was like a cult leader. She said, "Be careful. Some people lurk in streams, take ideas, then pretend like it's their own original idea." Yeah, I know. I know. We know a lot of people that have done that. But again, I don't know if anybody taking my idea because I'm batting 0 for 2, right? I said Team No Baby and I was wrong. And I wasn't really on board with the reincarnation stuff and I was wrong. So I could be wrong here. But I just feel like if when you're telling the story and you go back and really think about it, that's there could be another explanation, but I think that's the most logical, is that the man in yellow was the cult leader, right? And that's why the demon possessed him. Now, he tricked them thinking, okay, we're going to get immortal life, except for the fact that you're going to be a demon, right? That
Yeah.
can only come out at night. That's information that they didn't tell. So
Well, you didn't
that's
ask. That's the
Mhm.
problem.
Oh yeah, that's 100%. If
Yeah.
you don't ask, I'm not going to tell you. So it is what it is. So that's what I think. But again, I'm still going to put the video up because I still have some kind of connection to Lost in there, which is a stretch. But I'm still going to do that.
Talk
But
about you could cut this video and then make it a smaller clip and then put that in there.
I
You
could
just
do that too.
just do it. You already did the video right now. We just cut it up. Done.
Facts. Facts, 100%. So now,
I
of
want to
course,
go back to this. Hold on. I want to go back
yeah,
to this verse, the song. So it
go
says,
ahead.
when I was just a little boy, I asked my father, what would I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Here's what he said to me. And he said,
Mhm.
okay, Sarah. Whatever. So could that be Ethan saying this about Jim? Could
Interesting.
this be the man in yellow saying about his
Mhm,
father?
mhm,
You know, could this
100%.
be Victor who didn't? We're all wrong. Victor turns to the man in yellow, and because of all the trauma that he's seen.
So you're
So
thinking the man in
I
yellow could
believe
be
it's
Victor?
telling us something.
Me too. I agree with you 100%. It's definitely telling us something. It's just we got to figure out who it's telling us about, right? Because now that you said that, I'm like, so
Which
maybe it
one?
wasn't just right. Maybe it was the man in yellow, and maybe it wasn't just reincarnation, and it was riches and handsome and all the things that you want in your life. If we sacrifice our kids, we're gonna be rich beyond our beliefs. You're gonna be able to get whatever you want, and you're gonna have immortal life.
Isn't that the story of Abraham? God told him to sacrifice your son, and you got to sacrifice your kid if you really believe. So
Yes.
that actually goes to your cult leader type of idea. They say, hey, you have to sacrifice your kids if you really believe. You'll
Hmm.
sacrifice your kids, and all these things will come. All these riches will come to you. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then, so then they got the second verse. It says, "When I grew up and I fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead." That and they said, well, we have rainbow days after day. Here's what my sweetheart said. So that makes are we going to have a good life? So I found my love. Are we going to have a good life? So now this is the same thing that happened with Boyd, the same thing that's happened with Elgin, same thing that happened with Tabitha and Jim, the same thing that happened. All those couples are going through that same thing. Are we going to have this great stuff? And no, whatever happens, happens. This is what it is. But that's like all the groups, right? And then the
Yeah.
third verse says, now I have children of my own, which if this could just follow the Matthews family thing, but now I have
Hmm.
children of my own, they ask their father, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly. And it's the same thing. So it seemed like it's a cycle.
A
And
cycle.
we've talked about the cycle of these things are going on. We talk about reincarnation. It's the same cycle. You have to somehow break the cycle
Yes.
to get to the end. We can't get to the end because all it'll do is just keep on going over and over and over.
And that makes a lot of sense because if you go and listen to the lyrics, they tell the kid the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
right? Instead of saying something different, it's the same thing. Yes, you will be rich. Yes. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And then that
Now,
child becomes the boy. That boy falls in love. Fall in love. And he has kids his own, and says the same thing over, and it's just the same
back
cycle over and over again.
until you're able to break that cycle, which sometimes I could kind of get with Nikisha's thought that this might not end with the cycle ending. You know what I mean? This may just be telling us why the cycle keeps going on and on again, right? We may get to the end of this show and it's like, well, guys,
And
this is
this
why it
happened.
keeps going. Right. And maybe there's absolutely, because what happened happened. So maybe there's no way to
To break
close
the
the
cycle.
cycle. And we're
It's
just
just like what
seeing,
Carla says. I
yes,
Carla's saying, I think the song is saying they have no control. Whatever that will be, will be. You can't
yes,
stop it. We are a
facts,
train and you can't stop it. You trying to stop it, guess what? You're just gonna get ran over.
facts, 100%. She said, I want a story where we find out the parents aren't as awful as they seem. Maybe they were suffering from famine or something. Maybe they didn't know the kids would die. You know what? Um, I think Miranda and the original Miranda and Jade are the only ones that, because when you're in a cult, you're gonna listen to that cult lead, like even in real life. You know what I mean? Like you Waco stuff, they followed this guy to the end of the earth. You know what I mean? So I think that some of those parents, yes, they were selfish, right? All they wanted was to be, you know what I mean? Maybe they even had the kids just for the sacrifice, right? We don't know how long this preacher has been, okay, you're going to be chosen to have a baby. You're going to be chosen to have a baby. And when your babies are born at a certain age, we're going to have to sacrifice them if we want to live forever and have long life and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Jim got in trouble because he was trying to make a change. Yes, 100%. Uh, I like it when you
Say
stuff
stuff
like
like that.
that. Say it
Say stuff
again.
like that. Say it again.
I'm so tired of y'all talking about this caca more penguin fees. This is uh Danny, you on that nerd man tip right now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like
We're gonna go get punted, bear. You know what? You get Phantom Zone. That's what's gonna happen. If I had you, look, I
facts,
don't have a chance to be in the Phantom Zone. I would Phantom Zone you right now.
facts. I had to put this guy in timeout for a few minutes. You know what I mean? You're making stupid claims like that. You gotta be timed out, bro. What are we talking about here? But yeah, I agree with you. I think that there's definitely something in those lyrics, and I also believe that these lyrics too mean something because they don't put nothing in this show for no reason. You know what I mean? That's down to the music, that's down to the things we see and everything like that, right? So it's like
Mhm.
you'll be dead before your time is due. Was there anything else to the lyrics?
Time to come in, sweetie.
Was it his mom?
Saving his life away.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him, my boy.
Been working too hard,
I've
working
been
so
working too, baby.
yes,
It's the,
yes.
the man in yellow say, I've been working too. I got you.
Silence said, "I'm the
The
creator of the
silence.
Phantom Zone." Eh, I made it better, Danny. You created it. I made it better. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't doing that, right? So basically, the rest of the show, we're just getting a lot of information about who the players are and so and stuff. I didn't really find anything that was a sign or anything that kind of showed anything from like any clues. What do you about you,
I just wondered if they're all supposed to couple up. Are they all eventually everyone's going to die until they get to that right couple? They all have to be the couple of parents, the same like the same group of parents they had. So like
Brian?
everyone's going to die except for these 7 couples
Interesting.
and Boyd.
So
7 couples and Boyd.
unless Boyd hooks up with Acosta, you know what I mean?
Good.
Boyd,
Or it
Boyd,
could be Donna. You never know.
yeah,
Boyd is old.
yeah, I know, but yeah, I guess, but no, we're not doing Donna. We're going for Acosta. You know what I mean? We're going for Acosta. We ain't going for Donna. Nothing wrong with Donna, but we going for Acosta.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, she's probably too old for him anyway. Come on.
Facts. Danny said, "Real talk is this something like Cabin in the Woods, like some kind of sick experiment in the end?" No, Danny, I don't think it is that. It's definitely not a sick experiment. It's basically reincarnation, right? So there's these two people so far that we know of who keep being reincarnated over time because they have to come back and fix a wrong that they didn't do right. Now, I believe that the show is gonna end with us like Ethan coming out of the tunnel is gonna be starting over. I don't think we're gonna see an end to the cycle. I could be wrong. Maybe they will do it right because I think people would be unsatisfied. I don't know about you. I'd be okay with it, but I think it's gonna be another Lost all over again if they don't have some kind of definitive end to it.
I think it's going to end without us knowing.
Interesting.
So, like,
Explain.
they tell Ethan, if this doesn't work, you have to be the one to finishes this. So you must stay in the cellar. This is the only safe place. If we do not get this, if you come out, we're there. We won. If not, you have to finish our details. You have to do the story the right way. And then at the end of the show, he opens up the doors and he sees that they did not win. And then that drives him to the insanity that makes him the man in yellow. That creates the cycle that we just talked about, cycle all over again.
Very interesting. Just before I get to yours, Ash, Danny said, so it's like a scary Groundhog Day. Not necessarily, because we don't see the same things happen over again. So, for example, we're seeing one story of a reincarnation, right? So there's two people, Miranda and Jade. They keep coming back over and over again to do the wrong. But we're just seeing that one story, right? You had times in the past where they did the story where they were reincarnated, they were reincarnated as someone else. We're not seeing that. We're just seeing what's happening with this story, which is giving us clues and ideas of how the story went over centuries, right? So
Yep,
it's
exactly.
it's very well done. And Ash said, "When you die, do people get reincarnated straight away, or can you die and then get reincarnated like 10 years later?"
It
That
seems
is a
like it's
good.
happening right away because both of them, are the same age. Tabitha and Jade look like they're the same age.
Mhm.
Christopher and Miranda look like they're the same age. It seems like they're consistently coming back the same age.
Danny, if you ain't doing nothing tonight, and this is exactly what I told Roberto, watch the first episode.
Be
If you
careful,
like
man. You're gonna fall. I'm telling you, you're gonna fall, and you're gonna be on here with us talking about episode 2.
facts, if you
Break
like
it down.
if you like the first episode, you will love this show. Trust me on that. If you like the first episode, you will absolutely love it. Has this show been nominated for something? I don't know. Brian, you could look that up and see if
I'm
it's been
looking at it right
nominated for
now.
anything. If not, it
This should
should
be.
be. 100%. It should be. Writing, acting, and everything. But yeah, like I said, watch the first episode. I told Roberto the same thing. Roberto's almost finished season 2 now. You know what I mean? And he's like, yo, fire. So if you watch the first episode and you like it, yeah, you're going to like the show.
Just Satellite Award for Best Television Series in any genre.
It got an award or it's nominated?
Nominated.
Yeah, it should be. 100%.
Best. It was nominated for. Oh, it won that award. It was nominated for best horror TV show. The best horror, best TV actor. With Harold. Best genre TV actor Harold, and yeah, best horror TV series. Yeah,
So it won for Best Horror TV Series? Which
it's
one?
only been nominated for all these things.
I got you. I got you. I think this season was really good, and it could possibly win for this. Hey, Roselle, how you doing, man? Thanks for popping. He said, "I will watch the first season if you watch Penguin." I watched the first 2 episodes of Penguin, but at least I gave it a chance. You know what I mean? It's just not for me.
He doesn't
Um,
like grounded Batman, so you know he's not gonna like it, even though Batman is grounded always.
whatever. Anyways, we're talking from we ain't talking about Penguin. So let's. He said, if that's true, if Eloise dies at the same time as Miranda, if she got reincarnated, would she not be the same age as Tabitha? That means Eloise cannot be
Cannot be
Sarah.
Sarah.
No, to be honest with you, I still think Eloise is alive.
I do too.
Yeah, Yeah.
He saw
And
pieces. He found pieces and all that stuff of Eloise,
mhm,
which means to me that he doesn't have a body. And he was a little kid,
right.
so he doesn't remember. So, like,
Mhm.
I saw her dress or maybe a doll that she liked or something like that. So she's been out there in the woods, probably.
I agree. I think that's her. That's in the woods that we're now could be or it could be something else. But for me, I just think it makes sense that when you're talking about how she's, good at hide and seek, right? Oh, she's great at hide and seek. Okay. And I can never find her. And then now you talk about going into the woods and you're hearing voices or hearing noises and knocking. That could be her knocking and be like, these motherfuckers are in my cabin. You know what I mean? Like trying to get them to come out of the cabin, right? I also think that the reason why she's able to do that is because those totems that are up there are like having a talisman, which is protecting her and the creatures from coming in. You know, so that's why I think, and she probably just pissed that some people were sleeping in her bed. you
Or she
know,
can't communicate with them, or she doesn't know how to communicate, or something happened that she couldn't do it. And now
facts,
she
one
only way
hundred
she could
percent.
communicate is by trying to knock or trying to tell people or dragging them towards the lighthouse.
Mhm. So I wanted to bring this up because, and I know we already know about Sarah, but I actually think this is the first moment that she hears the voices because before she's happy go lucky, she talks to her brother.
It's the worst part. You still expect to find the road that takes you home? It's the part that's cruel. I'm fine. You're a good brother. Now get those animals aren't gonna feed themselves.
Now watch when she gets to the door, and like again because we're watching it again now, you notice it the first time you don't notice it, but right there where she stops and she does
And
that,
ominous music's playing.
yes, yes, I believe that is the first time she has heard the voice, right? And that's because Ethan and the Ethan and the Matthews family coming into the town signifies the beginning of the cycle,
Yep.
right? And I think that's what it is because even um, Victor says we haven't had two cars come in here in a long time, right? I believe the first time there were two cars was when he was a kid, right? He seen the two cars from there, and that was what started that cycle. And now we're getting this cycle being started with the Matthew brothers coming in, you know? So he said, I'm still holding out for Eloise to be Acosta. It's likely at this point, but unlikely at this point, but I'm stubborn. Um
What's her name now?
I
What
know
you
what
say?
the
Something Nikki? What do you call her?
which one?
What do you call Costa?
Danny.
Danny. Yeah, Danny.
Yeah,
So
Danny.
Danielle probably.
Yeah, I'm still holding. It could be, and you see, and that would be the thing is she would have had to have gotten out, right? But then you have to say, okay, she got out. It's a tragic thing that happened to her, so it's possible that she went through therapy, whatever. They gave her a new name,
And then
and now
forgot
she's
it.
got. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a possibility. It's
Like you
definitely
find out the more we get into to know Acosta, that we find out that she was adopted. So she changed
right,
her adopted family named her Danielle Acosta,
right,
but her
right,
real name was your real name. It was Eloise.
right.
And everyone's
Because
like,
now,
oh, because she doesn't
which
know anything about the story but Victor.
and it right, right? Because now think about it. So she gets out, right? Where's your family? Oh, my family's stuck somewhere. They're dead. They're gonna put her in a psychiatric ward. You know what I mean? She's gonna be drugged up. She's gonna well, maybe not drugged
She's a
up, but
little girl. You don't know what she's
yes,
saying. She's
right,
totally in the trauma. You saw what it did to Victor, and he had no one else
yes,
there. So he wrote pictures, drew
yes,
pictures. But besides that, he doesn't remember.
yes, exactly.
Trauma does things like that to kids.
And now you have this other like a psychiatrist there convincing you that everything you saw was a dream, right? It's not true. It's their mind playing tricks on you. Now explaining where the parents are, I have no idea, but they'll probably make it like, oh, your parents just left you here or whatever, blah blah blah, something like that, right? So I could see where she would be thinking, right? As she got older, she's like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe those were dreams that I had and stuff like that." And if that is the case, then something is going to trigger those memories, just like Tabitha and all of them had their memories, right? Maybe Tabitha touches her
Mm.
and realizes, "Oh, you're so and so." You know what I mean? Sarah and Tabitha were both very good with Victor when he was freaking out. Could be mom and sister. Um, the Sarah being Eloise, I don't think that's
She's
the case.
connected to the town. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but Sarah came from, because they say it in this episode when Jade and them come in, they say he's from some spot. They said, "Oh, Sarah and her brother are from that same spot
That
too."
in California, right, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think Acosta is Donna's sister. Ooh, no, I think Donna's sister's dead.
No, but
I
she
think.
like thinking that she was reincarnated. But the
Oh,
sister's the reason.
I got you. Carla, Carla, can you elaborate on why you think that? I think that's interesting. Oh,
I was
yeah,
trying to see if you
Carla.
ever heard Donna's sister's name.
Um, I don't think so.
I don't. I looked through all this stuff and I don't see.
Well, I think Tabitha gets the story in season 2, so we can
Mhm.
break that down
So
a,
we'll
a
see
little
it
bit
soon
more there
enough.
too. Yeah, absolutely. Next week. When Acosta came to the town, they showed Donna looking at a picture of her sister a few times. Ooh, that's interesting. If that's the case, Carla, I didn't catch that. I did not
And now
catch.
also because you now we see Donna talking to Acosta. Say we will talk after we get through all this stuff. And she
Mhm.
finds something drawing her towards her. You know, something a kindred spirit or something that she knows her. That could be possible. I like it.
And it makes sense, right? Because it seems like to me that everybody that has a connection has been drawn to one another, right? Tabitha was 100% drawn to Jade, right? She went in there, she started, finding out questions and stuff like that. So I it could be. Nerdman, what's up?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Can't say nothing, man. Some get some knowledge
You
from
need
these
to
guys.
fix your mic, homie.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, you sound like you're in water.
Mute me. Mute
I
me.
will. Was the hotel slash motel where there when Donna arrived? I remember when she's telling her story, she says there was a hotel a few miles back. Was that in From or before From? Should we ask Donna where the motel is? That's an interesting question. Um, I don't know. We'll definitely we're gonna break it down and keep those questions, man. We're gonna have a lot of questions that we're gonna have to answer. So any questions that you guys can think of, just you know, keep them for the next one. Keep them around so that we remember that when we get to that one. I should have been writing down questions to be honest with
Man,
you.
the fact that Donna, remember Donna said like her sister, she heard her sister being tortured. I don't know if she
Mhm.
ever saw the body. I don't remember.
That's a good point too. And it's always said if they don't see the body, the person ain't dead,
That's
right?
exactly. And now a tough old person will be something that could be out there in that cabin.
Absolutely. If anybody out there remembers, let us know. Do you remember if she found her sister's body? Because I don't remember her saying that. I do remember her talking about her sister dying, but I don't remember her telling that story. So that's definitely interesting. Was there anything else? I believe there was something else that I caught too as well. Hold on, let me get to the crow part because I know it was something with the crows. It's gonna tell his mom. They go in the house. Let me. Yeah, I think it's somewhere
Dad,
here.
Dad, how come those crows were doing that?
I don't know, buddy. Sometimes crows do funny things.
Why do they all hate on him?
Are you sure we're going in the
right direction? I mean,
Okay,
I
it's
don't
not
see the
there.
hallway anymore.
I know he asked about the crows. There's something with the crows, but I think it's when she talks about it here.
How far did he say the highway was?
He didn't. He just said stay on the road.
Hey!
You know, there's a name for what those crows did back there when they all like got in a group like that.
Murder.
Oh, murder.
Mm-hmm.
What? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's called a murder of crows. Because when they gather like that, it means you're looking for a victim.
There.
Mm,
There.
mm.
So when the crows
Um,
gather like that, they are
I'm
looking
looking
for a
for a
victim.
victim. We should like get a whiteboard and write that down.
Facts. 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 I thought you were supposed to bring the whiteboard. I was
I actually
expecting you
got
to
one
have
right
the
here.
whiteboard. I was like, this guy's gonna bring the whiteboard. We don't have a whiteboard. Uh, Donna also said that they ripped her sister's face off. We haven't really seen the creatures rip faces other than Kenny's mom. It's a good point. That is a good point, Nikisha. His sister is in that Jim's flashback to the moment right before the man in yellow killed him. Yeah. Oh, right. Because right, this part here is the moment that he flashed back before it was like saying, "Oh, I remember when we used to be good" or something like that, right? So, yeah, you are correct. You are correct. So it says that they're looking for a victim. The crows show up when Tabitha got there. The crows showed up when they actually both times they got there, right? When the ambulance came, I think the crows popped up again, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta go back and see that one too. But Tabitha and these guys, they're the victims. The Matthew families are the victims, 100%. So it makes sense that the crows, they would see the crows. Boom,
All
we
right.
got the word ready. All right, so let's go back and listen to really what she says.
It's called a murder.
What? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's called a murder of crows. Because when they gather like that, it means you're looking for a victim. And if you see them doing it, then you're the one they murdered.
Shut up. You're making that up.
Huh. So if you see them doing it, you're the one they murdered. Interesting.
Hello, can you hear
Jim?
me?
Yeah, we can hear you now there, man.
Okay, cool. So I just came to drop some gospel on you, like for just a few minutes. Like, well,
Oh,
not a
how
few
much?
minutes,
What you
but
got?
I'm gonna have some gospel. So
What
I just need to know one thing, right? So
you got?
Boyd, how's he connected to all this? Is he just somebody who randomly turned up, or is he really connected? And my
So,
best answer is the twist is gonna be in his past life, he was the one who initially did the thing of sacrificing children. Not all came up
okay.
with the idea of sacrificing the children.
You
And
know
like
what?
he's
Hmm.
back now. He's back now. And I have a theory even of how like it comes about. Like basically maybe it's like the monsters like throughout the generations. Once they get close to, or once the townspeople get close to figuring out how to defeat them, they offer them some kind of truce or like whatever, like offer them a chance to go home if they sacrifice the children
So you think
to
there's
get
gonna?
there.
You see, the problem that I have with that is there's not enough children in the town for them to do that, right? Right at this moment, right? So,
There's Julie, there's whatever, there's a chance for some more kids to turn up.
well,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying.
Julie's what,
Yeah.
17? That's
Hmm.
really stretching the idea of what a child is.
Yeah.
But I
What do you
do
mean?
like what he's saying. I do like what he's saying because there's little
About
things
Boyd.
about Boyd. Because why would the monsters be so willing to keep him alive? They're
Hmm.
so willing to try to turn him evil. They're
Exactly.
so willing to do all
Exactly.
these things, to give him keys. Hey, make a choice. They're so willing to push him certain ways. That's interesting. Nerdman, that's really interesting.
No, that part of it is interesting. I agree with that 100%. Because I was going to say, that could be interesting, right? Boyd convinced them to sacrifice the kids, thinking that he would be the one, the original Boyd I'm talking about, thinking that he would be the one that would end up being possessed, and he's not. What if he's the boy in white?
Wow.
What if-
Well,
Right?
that doesn't quite. I
So,
think it would
so here's
be.
the thing. Here's the thing, right? He was jealous that he didn't get the power, right? So how would you try to, you would go against the man in yellow, which means he would have teamed up with the original Miranda and the original Christopher to help stop the boy in white, help stop the man in yellow.
Mm, wasn't quite where I was going with it, but I was wondering why these monsters, like you, that's how I came up with the theory. Like, why are the monsters so fixated with breaking him? Because
Because you
they
break him,
know that
they know he said he's
he's
their
the one.
leader. They have to get him on that side, right? He has to be the leader. And if they ever do get him on that side, then they win. Then they've done
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. And think about it. It
Even
had to be
worse.
the leader who sacrificed the children originally.
Yes.
I mean, it had to be, right? Like, it couldn't have been just some nobody who convinced the townspeople to
No,
sacrifice the
absolutely.
children. And why would they want to sacrifice the children? Why would they get so desperate that they would sacrifice their children? It has
So,
to be that they were promised something like they could go home or.
well, no, they were. I think they were already home. So
Yeah,
and
they
I
are.
said it earlier. Here's what I think: the man in yellow, or the man who told them to sacrifice it, was like either a cult leader or like an antichrist fake prophet, and he told them, if we sacrifice our kids, you know, we will be able to get
Live
immortality,
forever.
riches, and all of that stuff. I also believe that the people who had the kids were picked by him to have those kids, right? The 7 people that had the kids, the 7 couples, I think he picked those couples to have the kids because it's almost
Do you mean like
impossible.
Abraham sacrificing Isaac kind of
Yes,
Yeah,
situation? Like
we
yes,
he
talked
was
about it
one of
earlier.
those
yes,
preachers.
yes, yes. And not to mention, it would have to be planned because every one of those kids was born at night in the dark, right? So it could be in the dark, but I'm thinking at night because the creatures can't come out at night. So I'm thinking they were born at night and it's not just in the dark, right? I actually believe they were born at night. You would have to plan that. You would have to plan that. So you would have
Wait
to
a second, they
actually
were all the kids were born at night. I thought the monsters
Yeah,
were born at night.
both,
Ooh,
both.
Both. The kids were
Yeah,
born in the darkness. Oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
and then more
yes.
or sacrifice in darkness,
And
and that
sacrifice in
and that
darkness.
darkness then created the monsters,
Yes, yes. And that darkness is what possessed the man in yellow, right?
and that's what we saw in those pictures. With
Yeah.
Hello?
the man in yellow, we see him there, and then the
Wait a
darkness
second.
sacrificing him.
Yeah,
So
I muted you, nerd man. Yeah, go ahead. So he said Fatima said the sacrifice was for eternal
for
life.
eternal
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I think it was also for, not just eternal life, but riches. You know what I mean? Riches, power, whatever. A cult leader. Imagine what you guys could do or what we could do if we live forever. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's that, but I mean, Boyd is capable of bad things, as Lakeisha said, right?
Hmm.
Um, if it's for we sacrifice these children to save our families, and then we'll live together in harmony forever.
But save their families from what though?
There's something out there, so they're sacrificing to this evil, these kids. And it was the
Okay.
wrong choice
Which so you're saying that they were sacrificing their kids to
to
prevent
stop
the evil,
another evil. Yeah,
and
so
then
they can.
instead of stopping it, they brought them into the world. That could be
Or
interesting too.
or something like as simple as you can't get into the kingdom of heaven without sacrificing your kid.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
That
and that's the eternal life that they're talking about. You're able to get into the kingdom of heaven if this is the Garden of Eden, as I talked about before. If you can't get into the kingdom of heaven without sacrificing your kids.
Danny, you are here, Mr. Preacher Man. Please let us know if there is anything in the Bible like that kind of a story. Please let us know, right? Because that'd be interesting. And like you said, there are references, Garden of Eden, all that stuff. There's been references. So I
Abraham and
believe,
Isaac. I'm just saying, yeah, like as Nerman
yeah,
said. I mean, those things are there.
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
it's Abraham and Isaac. There's nothing. I mean, that's the basic story that would be based off, and then maybe mixing it with the Garden of Eden kind of thing, or
Exactly.
something along those lines. Like it's basically God, basically said, you sacrifice your child or whatever,
And take him up to the
to
mountaintop. He had him
prove
there
your faith
do
to
it.
me,
Mhm.
and then he regains his son by. Yeah, so there's that,
Uh,
but it doesn't quite map on exactly to this. But you could take
But we don't know the
literary
exact.
liberties.
We don't know the exact what exactly happened. So we
Right.
might see it and might see that it's not exactly what we thought was going on, and that's why this has to continue to go on and on and on and on.
That's why I
Yeah,
would
but
say,
I'm just saying it doesn't map onto the Garden of Eden. It has nothing to do with the Garden of Eden.
No, I'm just saying
I
that the
mean,
Garden of Eden is where they're stuck. This is their purgatory,
yeah.
somewhere, something like that.
and I would say it kind of makes sense too, right? That if that's the case, then instead of this guy being a cult leader, he's a fake prophet, right? He's giving them Bible references, sacrifice your firstborn or whatever, blah 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 blah. You get eternal life. When in fact he was working with the devil to try and bring up the anti
Jesus.
whatever it is the creature is. You know what I mean?
He was the
Hey man,
snake.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we got that first one, and let's continue. Because she says again, we'll play it again. It's called The Murder of Crows.
Because when they gather like that, it means you're looking for a victim. And if they see them doing it, then you're the one they murdered.
So the question is, and I believe everybody that has saw the tree ended up seeing the crows, right? Which would mean that everyone's a possible victim. Let me get to this. Danny said, sacrificing kids. No, God tested Abraham to see if he was obedient. When he was obedient, God provided a ram to sacrifice instead of his son, Isaac. God never would.
Yeah.
God was never going to let him kill his sons.
But he had to know. She was
But
testing
God
his faith. He was
knew.
testing faith.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. God knew that he was not going to do it. God knew he was obedient. So why did he test him?
That question I couldn't answer. Danny will
Yeah, but
give an
it's
answer.
all about will. It's also
Faith.
about faith and
Faith.
seeing what's going on. So it's actually that's about what I know. You have free will, right? So with free will, you can test it out because people can choose to not do what you think they would do.
And that's why I
Yeah, I
would
know,
say,
but God already knows what his choice is going to be because he knows everything. So that's
Yeah,
the point. Why would he
but
need to test it?
that
What's the
eliminates the
point?
idea of free will, and people don't like the idea that you don't have free will.
yeah, and
Right,
that
exactly. But that's the contradiction, isn't it?
not really. Go watch Danny's video he did on there with one of his friends where it was talking about free will and not free will, and they were going back and forth. It was definitely a good video to watch there.
That's what
And
I was thinking of actually
Mm-hmm.
when I said that. It's a pretty interesting concept.
I actually think that even though he may have known, you're still not 100% you certain, right? Because you got to put
How
faith,
can God not be 100% certain?
because he
He
gave
gave
you
you
free will.
free will. He's
Yes,
created free will.
yes,
So
yes.
because you
Wait,
created
God
it,
is not omnipresent or omniscient.
but he gave you free will. He created the idea of free will.
Yes.
Yeah, I
100%.
understand that, but you're saying now that God is an omniscient, which completely contradicts the Bible.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he gave. Okay, so for example, with the free will, and I always say this: you have two paths. You can do the wrong one, or you can do the right one. God's not going to tell you what path to take. He's going to put you on there and let you decide which path to take. And I think that's the kind of test he was doing. Maybe deep down he knew he was going to take that path, but he also had to see if he was going to be corrupted, right? Because remember, we still have evil, we still have the devil. You know what I mean? So even though
You can't.
this is the go ahead.
Yeah, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on.
No, no, no,
Continue.
no.
I want.
I want to hear what you were gonna say.
No, that's an obvious contradiction. The only explanation that makes sense with God being omniscient is that he actually knew that obviously he was going to sacrifice his son, which in a sense is in itself, I mean, like, is weird because that makes him a murderer, basically. His
And I think
willingness
you're
to
looking at it
murder his son.
correctly.
No, 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 no.
No,
Wait, wait.
so
Just give me a
understand,
second.
but the concept
It,
behind all this is that you think that God, that the Bible is, that you should be, the Bible is supposed to explain everything to you, and that's not the case. They're giving you information. It's not you. It's very what's the word, I guess, arrogant for us to think that we can have all answers because the way we think should be the proper way that everything should be. That's arrogance. No,
I
it's
didn't say
written.
that.
No, I'm not.
That's
No,
not arrogance. It's
it
not
is arrogance
arrogant to say that you
as
shouldn't
human.
kill a child.
No, it's arrogance
That's
that
not
we
what he's
should.
saying.
Arrogance that
That's
we should.
basic morality.
That's not what he's saying. Go ahead, Brian.
That what's arrogance that it all should follow what we think. That should follow the way that the proper way that we think. That's how the Bible should be written. That it should be made in our
If
image.
someone came to
So,
you and
so it
told
should be
you,
written in our image
God
instead
is
of in
telling
His
me to
image.
sacrifice my
That's not the
son.
right idea. It's
If
not.
somebody,
We are not the son.
Hold
We're
on,
not.
let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
We're not the
okay,
whole
okay, I'm
center
not
of this
even.
stuff. We're not the center of it.
I know we're not
It's
the whole
God's.
center
It's
of the
God's
stuff,
the center
but
of it.
there's some
So it's not
basic
written
things that we
in
should be
your.
able. I get what you're saying. I understand it, but even if we're not the center of stuff, there's some basic, fundamental, moral kind of things that we should know.
To you.
That a child is a moral being. A baby is worthy of moral consideration because of its humanity and because of its vulnerability, right?
Okay.
And the
So no, I
idea
don't
that
agree,
you would
because if that was the case,
murder it
then God's
or
murderous for
consider
allowing
murdering it
babies to
because
have
God
cancer.
asked you to is ridiculous.
No, is it murderous
So what would
for
you do
God
if
to allow?
somebody told you God was telling him to murder his son?
See, these are parables, and you're not think about it in the grand scheme of things, and you're not
Okay.
seeing it that
Okay.
way. And as I said, you're trying to fit it into your mindset and your concept of how things work instead of understanding things are bigger than we are. We as humans really believe everything we think is all morality, is all the things that how it should be. And you're trying to it's like trying to put a giant red pole into a small square peg. Like it doesn't work that way. Because we see it one way doesn't mean that's all the answers to everything. And and getting back to just because we see our minor part that we
alternatively,
see.
Hold on. Let him finish.
It's like that we get to we think we see must have all the answers when we don't have all the facts. Our narrow-mindedness is only based on what we see instead of what's going on in the big picture. You have no idea. To be omnipresent, to be omniscient, I see the big picture. That's what the point is. Not to just be, I know every detail about everything. It's that I see all that's going on. I know how it all fits together. I know why one thing happens to this thing and another thing happens to this thing. I know what it is.
And Danny said,
okay.
and then we'll get to, hold on, we're gonna get to Danny this, and then we're gonna get back to it because we're way off topic. Danny said, God knows.
Just one last thing.
No, not one last thing. No, not one last thing. I'm gonna get to Danny's comment, and then we're gonna move on.
Thing.
We'll talk about from. No, we're talking about from. God knows what sin is. but he's never experienced it. He gives us free will. The Bible says clearly that his way aren't our way. His
His
ways aren't
thoughts
our ways.
are
His
our
thoughts
thoughts.
aren't our thoughts.
Says it multiple times throughout the Bible. So the idea that
Okay, so he's
it should
allowed to
be our
continue. He's allowed
morality,
to continue speaking. I'm not allowed to say anything. Okay, good.
but it's the same. I'm just explaining what he's
I'm
saying.
not. It's not against you, Brian, but he always does this to me. But it's fine. Like it's fine.
Yeah, because
Not against you.
your talking just keeps going and going. So you want to do it quick? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say something quick to that. I was just going to say you can see it that way as some big mystery that we can't comprehend, or alternatively, it's just an evil act that is being justified by religious mumbo jumbo. One or the other,
See,
right?
now I knew you were gonna say some bullshit like that. So now
And
can we
that's
move
you
on?
know what that's literally the definition of arrogance. It's literally the definition of arrogance. You know better.
Why? I don't know
Because you
better.
just said, I know better. This is my morality. I know better. This is, and
I
can
know that if
tell you
God
what's
told
good or
me to
bad.
kill my child, I'd say no, because I expect, because you're omnibenevolent and you're all good, that you don't actually mean for me to do that. And you're testing me to make sure that I wouldn't kill my child. Or I'm crazy and I'm hearing voices that aren't God.
Okay. But I'm
Good.
telling you
Now,
that's arrogance for everyone to follow us.
Okay.
yes. Now we're moving on. All right. So
Now we move on.
that
Sorry.
quite all right. Now she gives this theory about the ravens.
Honey, you know what? I don't think those were even crows.
Which they were,
They
but
look
okay.
they look like ravens to me. And you know what a group of ravens are called? An unkindness.
I don't know if that means anything. I doubt it. But to call in a raven and then say unkindness, I guess he's just calling Julie unkind or something like that. But it's interesting.
Or the people of the town were a group of ravens. That's unkindness.
Ooh, because we know the people that are in the town, pretty much every one of them has been broken in some sort of way, right? It's not like they've had these happy lives. And, even Boyd, like with his wife, he was trying to retire. He wanted the boat. Yeah, they ended up getting it to him. But it kind of seemed like, they may have had issues in their private life. Go ahead, nerd man.
Brian's got notes, bro. Brian's
Yeah,
up
yeah,
there
yeah,
with
yeah.
some notes.
Hey,
Yeah,
Keeping
yeah. We
notes,
try.
bro.
Yo, the point of these streams is to figure this shit out before season 4 comes on, right? That's what we're trying to do. So we're going through every episode and whatever we think is a clue. Now,
put it up
we
here.
already right, and we already have clues or answers to some of the clues, so we'll skip those, right? I just think the most important stuff is like one, who the man in yellow, who the boy in white is, you know, can't really think of the other ones right now, but there's definitely a few that we still need answers to. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to show you guys something, and I'm not gonna bring up the picture, but when we first see Jade, look at the shirt Jade is wearing. Now, I'm sorry,
Mm.
but and I don't want to really go back and see, but that definitely looks like the same type of shirt that was the man that was in the cellar.
That was burned, alive, whatever. Or
Yes,
whatever that
in
was
the
is dead.
cellar.
Nah.
Yeah.
Was it?
It
Uh,
looks like it's the same shirt. It looks like it's the
Wait,
same
I'm
shirt.
looking that up. I'm looking that up.
You find it, nerd man. Find it, because
Okay.
I gotta change the screen, go and look which episode it is. But when you see that episode with the
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah. I'll try and
yeah,
find it.
let us know. Murder can be undone, but kindness means you can change. Murder can't be undone, but unkindness means you can change. 100% golden child, right? And that's the thing, right? When we talk about the unkindness and people in the town, even in this first episode, Donna and Boyd didn't seem like they had a relationship, because when Boyd goes to see his son, Donna's like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here," right? So they
mhm.
obviously didn't have a strong relationship, and then they ended up growing into one, right? You could see a lot of these characters where they start off not Jade. He got in there and he was a total dick. Randall got in there and was a total dick, right? They were selfish and you can see that. But when push came to shove, they were all showing kindness. So I agree with you 100%. The kindness can definitely make.
Wow. They are similar.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Jade
Oh, you found it.
so
I
much
don't like this. He's right.
than he does now. Yeah. Okay, so
What
the
was the
reason
man's
why
name again? I'll find the
um,
picture. What's the man's
no,
name
we
again?
we don't have the name of the man. I'm not talking about Martin. We're talking about when Ethan goes into that not Ethan. Elgin goes into that room for the first time. Brian, you want to bring it up? Share screen?
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now. Give me a
Yeah, yeah.
second.
I was in another stream that showed those shirts side by side, similar but not the same. Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't actually have to be the same, but the fact that they're similar, maybe Jade has, he likes a lot of striped shirts, and he has another one that's similar. I don't know, but Brian's gonna bring it up, and then we could definitely see if that shirt is the same. Because to be honest with you, when I really think about it, even though the shirt may be similar, you know, look where Jade started. Look at his beard where he started, and then look at his beard in season 3. Right? By the time he gets locked in that cave, he could have a huge ass beard. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely similar.
Let me
It
see.
is.
Wait. Oh, similar, not the
You look at
same.
it, it's not the
No,
same, but it's
no,
similar.
it's not the same. Like you could look at it because that one seems to have a it has like looks like designs right where the button is, like a little bit of lines there, and yeah, so it has a it's it's definitely different. But who else in the town is wearing a shirt like this though? Right? I mean,
Yeah, see, this one, the white is thicker lines, and before in the other one, the
yes,
white is thin lines.
yeah, exactly. Um, what do y'all think the meaning of all the drugs and alcohol everyone does in the show? So I think that the drugs could be opening up their third eye in a type of way. You know what I mean? We already know that Miranda started seeing visions when she did the acid, right? That's when she started.
Hmm.
Jade has been drinking his ass off since he got there. You know what I mean? Um, we don't know if Tabitha's been engaging in any kind of drugs, but I think it's a little bit different with Tabitha because she's been having dreams and visions since she was a kid. So she never really needed something to open up her mind like that, right? As you can see, like Jade was stoned out of his mind in this picture right here. Like he was stoned. So that could definitely be it. Plus, we also have Tom telling Jade that he needs to be sober to
Sober up
figure it
to
out. You know what I mean? So that could be either be help. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, because I always say that I don't trust those little visions, right? He told Jade to sober up so that they would figure out that it was music notes, right? Obviously, Jim was the one that pretty much figured it out, but Jade had to put it together, right? Jade had to put the songs
he had to
together. So
play
what
the music.
he had to play the music. So I also think that again, those things are there to manipulate. They're not there to help, right? They're
But
there
once
to
again, with as you said, even though they opened the door to the man in yellow, they also opened the door to the kids.
yes, yes, I agree. I really think that it was one and the same. So you had to play the song to get the kids to come so that they could remember, but playing that song also was what freed the man in yellow. Jade showed up under the influence. Yes, he did.
100% he did.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Danny sent a $5 super chat. He said, "Oh boy, this is shades of LDG. Don't end up in the ER. Don't go too far down the robot hall. I bet this is all Mephisto." You know what, Danny? I was
He's gonna be
LDG.
the evil in town.
It's funny because LDG reached out to me like maybe 2 weeks ago. and we were backstage and we're talking. He asked me to play something for him, and then I was like, bro, this show has turned me into you the way you were with WandaVision. Yes, this is what we doing, Danny. We breaking down every single episode, trying, and it's funny because look at us. We're looking at the shirts, like, oh, that shirt looks like this the same shirt. Is it a possibility? That's that's what this that's what the show
That's what
does.
I'm saying, bros. I'm trying to keep you sane from going down this rabbit hole. You guys
And
you guys are
Nikisha
going
already
down
said it.
to a
Like
dark place, bro. You'll
Nikisha
have
already
beards as big as freaking jades, you know.
Facts. Facts. When Nikisha said already, she said this show is awesome. I've never watched a show that gives us so much room for theorizing and community. Thanks for the rewatch. Y'all are my favorites. We appreciate that.
Lakeisha,
Absolutely,
you're awesome, man. She's
100%.
she's incredibly
Best,
awesome.
the best, 100%. The Mephisto, Mephisto,
Yeah.
Mephisto. You know what? Hey, it could be Mephisto, to be honest with you. The way
What is
the show
Mephisto? He's the devil, right?
Yeah,
I said this
right.
in the Garden of Eden. I said that there's snakes. You know, I think there's temptation throughout the whole thing. I think that's what the drugs are, is a temptation to get things going. You know, I feel like all these things could be explained through the Bible, no matter what. And I think they're going that route.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, Danny, no, this
Mm,
these are rewatches. These are not longer than
Yeah, no,
2 hours.
we're
You know
not
what I mean?
doing 5
We're not doing 5 hours. Definitely not doing 5 hours. No, no, you know. But when season 4 drops, yeah, there'll
Oh,
probably be more 5-hour streams. I
oh
can't even
yes, it
deny
will.
that.
We'll listen to everyone who's in chat, and we'll
5
talk about all
hours.
these things.
Yes, yes. Yeah, nerd man. The last 2
Hey,
streams we did were 5 hours.
Danny, do you think the fact that there are 24 hours in a day has anything to do with, is there any religious thing that talks about this? I'm just curious.
I
Like it's a
mean,
holy number or something.
no, so they got the common gavel and the was it the thing that cuts up the days. You're supposed to be use your common gavel, your gauge, 24-inch gauge, which cuts your day in 8 for God, 8 for yourself, 8 for sleep. That's how it's supposed to cut up your day. That's the only thing they really talk about, but as far as in the Bible for that, yeah.
Interesting.
So now I think this is like around the second time when Sarah starts to hear the voices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now she's acting really strange. So the fact that the voices came when Ethan and the Matthew family came to the town, I have to wonder if okay, so it's obviously the boy, the man in
How are you
yellow,
feeling?
but is a possibility that it could be the kimono lady's voice talking to them too, talking to her, or does the kimono lady just deal with with Elgin?
I wonder if it has something to do with with anyone who, as I said, has that type of mind frame that they could be talked into those things. There are people that have experienced real trauma or experienced, because everyone who's seeing things they've experienced real trauma in their life, and that's always the one who's talking about this. The kimono lady, I believe, is just about the delivering of the children, of the babies,
Yeah.
and stuff, because like she wasn't even a monster per se. She was able to come in during the daytime. She's able to pop in the photos and all that other stuff. I think she's only about that. She's an entity, and that gives me the idea that demons do exist in the show. That she is a demon or a crossroads demon or some type of thing that you can call into existence. Um, so, and I think that the voices are doing it for a reason. You want to eliminate Jade's partner, right? Because you can't just kill Jim off the bat, but you had to eliminate Jay's partner to get him to play his role. If without him, with the guy still there, Jay would never play his role.
Yeah,
So I think
you're correct.
that's what the voices are all about: getting to play all the players to play their roles, and then they play that game of chess, and the same thing happens over and over again. It's about continuing the same story over and over again.
So is the voices the man in yellow then, or is it other creatures? Because we already know that the man in yellow was definitely
On the
um
phone. He was definitely on
on
the
the
phone
phone. Yeah, definitely on the phone. I
in the
also
radio.
believe on the radio. So is it the man in yellow that's putting the voices in Sarah's head, and that's why we can't see it, right? Because we could see Ethan with the kimono lady. We saw the, but reason why we didn't see the man in yellow or Sarah's voice is because it was the man in yellow. What do you think?
That makes sense. I mean, Elgin, you know what's going on, and they also had something they possessed. He had a camera that was possessed.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And then we also seen that Sarah had that little thing that she put together, the little snowman. She put
Mm-hmm.
it back together, and then she
And then
started hearing the voices again.
that's another thing that was possessed that she could do. She could use.
Absolutely.
Or
What are
they
your thoughts,
used it.
nerd?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts, nerd man?
I'm hungry. But, I'm just listening to your theories, bro. I'm interested in them, but like, yeah, I don't know if I have the theories on every single thing like you, but I
Man,
because
it's
I
just
like to me, I don't think you can figure out the story like this. I don't think you can figure it out by like break because they're all their breadcrumbs. There's stuff that obviously is gonna lead to what the revelation is going to be, but it also distracts you. That's how writers write, right? So I
yeah.
don't think you can. You have to look at an overarching theme. What is the story trying to tell us?
Hmm.
And then you can probably figure out. And who are they trying to hide? Like what character does something like everything happens to all the characters, but there's just one character that this thing doesn't happen to. Those are usually like the kind of red flags that it's like say a Scream film, right? Everyone you see, like everyone who gets killed, you see it, but there's one person who gets killed, and they get killed, but you don't see them. They're obviously the killer, right? Or
Hmm.
something to do with the killer. Yeah.
But then by
So it's
that
that kind of
point,
thing.
could it be just it is literally showing it's the Garden of Eden, and in Garden of Eden you have all these things, but you have the knowledge of good and evil, and then you have the snake that's trying to get you to do the wrong thing. Or you're trapped in the Garden of Eden because of what happened before. You're trapped there because Adam and Eve did the wrong thing and they've been kicked out. So now you're in there, and now it's all this evil that's there. I mean, there's all these type of things that could be the overarching themes, because we've said there's a lot of things that are kind of biblical that are happening in here. So
Well,
that could be a lot.
reincarnation's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Reincarnation is
Oh, well, you
definitely a
know
thing
now.
now. We
Yeah,
can't doubt
100%
that.
know. Yeah,
Like, so maybe looking into Hindu stuff, like as well, like and
it could be
other
all
kind of
religion.
mystical systems,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
that kind of thing might be.
it could be all religion. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense in itself too, because you want this to be a worldly show. People from South Korea are loving this show. People from Japan are loving this show. This is a thing that it's an overarching type of show. So you don't want to just focus on one thing. You want to be able to focus on many.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, by
And
the
that's
way,
why they
what
have
was
the
that?
kimono lady,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because she's like Asian lore or something like that. Go ahead, Norman. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, what was the show that this guy said that he said he's obsessed with now? Sounded good.
Madness or something like that.
Madness.
Madness. I'm kind of
Mhm.
curious about that one.
Madness is
I'm,
interesting.
I'm
Domingo,
a, yeah.
call me Domingo.
Oh, he's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll check it out. At this point, they've all had trauma and all should be hearing voices. I agree with you, Anne, but at the same time, I think it's only the weak-minded, right? Or the minded that like Sarah, she kind of I don't want to say weak-minded because she was the MVP of that last episode, 100%. But I think
How was she
because
the MVP?
what?
She took
She's
his
the
eye
MVP,
out,
bro.
bro.
Yes, 100%.
She
Yes,
only did it to say, "Boy, I don't want Boyd to have
facts,
to do this, so I'm going to go
facts.
ahead and show what he needs to do." I was
Facts.
like,
She was
"Oh
the
my god!"
MVP, bro. Trust me. She was the MVP. She did
You
what
guys, you guys are on side with that? Because I ain't
No,
even talk.
Yes.
dude,
I
if
ain't
you
even
saw
talked to
me,
you
I
about
was
that yet.
shaking
You're on
when
side
I
with
look
that.
at it.
She
I'm
took a
shaking
nigga's
at it. I'm
eye,
like, man,
bro.
I can't believe it. What she did is so bad, but she
Facts.
she's an important character, and I think that's something
That was
that
savage, bro.
yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Sometimes you need a savage person in a moment where you need to be savage, and she was that. She was
But
about it,
she
about it.
didn't need to. And that's the problem with all the bad stuff that people don't have to do any
Yeah.
of this stuff. Let Elgin go off on his own merry way. Follow him. Use a telescope. Look what he's doing. Follow him there. Like that's all you
And
had to do. But they
And
MVP.
they didn't even get to her on time anyway,
no,
bro. They didn't
anyway,
even
so
get
it
to her
didn't
on time
matter.
anyway.
Right. And I have a theory as to why they didn't get to her on time. It was because them damn voices, like Father Kotri was trying to stall for time, right? That's why he had that conversation with Boy. You take
But you
away
wouldn't
that
have
five.
those voices if you just let Elgin go on his merry way and you followed him. You saw he had a bag. They should have just gave him hey,
Right.
what's up and
So here's the
followed him
thing.
down around the corner.
So here's the thing. That
See
wouldn't
what
have
I'm
worked.
saying, Brian?
Because,
Talking
hold on, hold on,
all
hold
the
on, hold
sense
on,
in the
hold on,
world.
hold on, hold on. That wouldn't have worked because the minute they would have started following her, that camera would have clicked off and showed Elgin that he was being followed.
Just make sure he doesn't bring the camera. Hey,
Well, you
Elgin, can I
can't.
borrow that camera for you?
You
Hey,
can't
hey,
do that because they didn't know
No,
about the camera.
I
Then
just
none of
don't
them knew
think
that
you
the
have to
camera was
go
doing
after.
that.
Listen,
Listen,
I don't think you have to go after a nigga's eye, bro. Like his
listen.
eye.
Yes,
Like you could
yes,
start with like
yes.
something else.
No,
Start
they
with
did.
a
They started
nipple.
off with his hand.
Start with
They
a
started with his
nipple.
hand.
All
yeah,
right, yeah. A hand
That's
is
it.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you bash
bro.
a hand if you've got the resolve. But come
Wait,
on,
wait, hold on.
you start
Wait,
with
hold on,
you
hold on,
start with
hold on, hold on,
someone's
hold on
a
there, man.
nipple.
Hold on there, man.
You start moving
You
around
ever,
the groin
oh,
area.
wait,
You
wait,
know what
hold
I'm
on there,
saying?
man. Wait, hold on. You ever putting in a nail, right? And hammering a nail in and that shit slips and hits your finger?
Yeah,
That's
it
pain.
hurts like fuck.
Okay, so
No,
now
That's
look what
cool.
Boy did to his hand. That was
yeah.
10 times worse than you just hitting your finger on a nail. Like that hand was cracked open, bleeding, and Elgin still didn't tell nothing. So
And
What
even though
about
he
an
was in
ear,
pain and
bro? An
crying,
ear,
nah, man,
an
nah,
ear,
and
man.
an
and then
ear.
Sarah came out of
Come on,
nowhere and
like
said,
his
"Oh, I
eye.
got you. Don't worry about this. Give me 2 minutes." Everyone's running up the stairs. Sarah, don't do it. She went,
Listen,
and
when
that
they
was
were
it.
saying, when Father Kotri was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Do the old torture and pull out each one of his fingernails?" I was like, "Yes, yes,
Oh, goodness.
yes, pull out a fingernail. Yes,
I don't want to see
yes,
Boy do that.
yes. You had to do that 100%. Maybe the
I
fact
don't
that
know,
they
man.
arrived at the same times and the crows appeared meant that Sarah had to kill Toby to complete the murder. Possible.
Dude,
Mm.
Anything.
you could have
I've
tried.
heard.
You could have tried water torture first, bro.
Now
At
they,
least,
now they,
at
now they
least
did.
try
They did.
water
Now
torture.
they did what they had to do, bro.
MVP for
MVP
torture is
for
crazy.
torture is
Essential.
crazy. Yes, 100%. She was about it. Thank you, PM. Said leave Sarah alone. 100%. Sarah did what she had to
Leave
do.
Sarah alone.
Yes.
She killed her
Yes.
brother, bro.
She
Yes.
killed
And
this
Killed
guy
her
that we're looking
brother.
at. She killed her brother. She tried to kill Ethan. Like she,
and she
She
saved
does
Tabitha.
like
She
yeah, but
saved
they
Tabitha.
also
She
told her that
saved
she's the
Ethan.
scariest person in From. She's
Fact.
the scariest person in From, and she's right.
Fact.
Dude, have you?
Fact.
after seeing her.
Boy,
Bruh. She did what she had to do. I ain't got no problem with Sarah. You know what I mean? Sarah
See
could
what I
have
mean?
my back any day, every day. Because I know when Ish pops off, Sarah is going to bust
She's
off
eye
on
popping.
people. Yes, 100%.
Sarah's
The
the one
irony.
why I'm afraid to get out right now. Sarah's the reason. Smile, cute. Oh, I'm scared to get out right now. I don't drink tea with people. You bring a teacup, I walk away because of those reasons right there. Because of Sarah. Thank you.
Fact. The irony is the kimono lady forgot about Fatima after she got what she wanted, so they tortured Elgin for nothing. Elgin would have brought her back afterwards. Yeah, but they didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like this is hindsight. We watching the show, we know that, but they don't know that, so they desperate, right? You got to do what you got to do. I'm
But being a
sorry.
good detective, you just know follow the dude.
She said, "Don't
Cops
make
do
me
that
go
for
up there
forever.
and defend Sarah." Yes, PM, you gotta come and defend Sarah. It's 100%.
But
Because you see me, I'm going at it
all
alone,
they
right?
do though, all they do is follow. Like for years, that's what you
Look,
do. You set the guy, you set
I'm
the
not.
hook, and you follow him, and then you say, "Hey, we found out where it is," and you got the fish. That's all you had to do.
Look. If someone's got my daughter-in-law, I don't mind the little torture. but taking a nigga's eye. That's all I'm saying. His eye. Is that necessary?
Hey, he had to
I'm
take his eye
sure he
for him
would
to
have
see.
quit before.
That's why. He had to take his eye for him to see.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Definitely. Now I get it. You know what I mean?
I bet your boy
Yeah.
went back into the room and said, "Hey, guess what? We still here. That means
I
you were
hope he
wrong.
ain't part of
Can
the
you see
cast
it now?"
next. What was it? What was it? Julie was saying last week. I was like the same, bro. I can't watch this guy every week with his eye out like that, man. I'll feel sorry for him.
You
Like,
put a patch
Hey,
over it. You good? Yeah,
there's
they got patch
there,
in ambulance. It's good.
there's a clip on YouTube
that's
where
just
they
wrong,
like
bro.
have a fake eye hanging out, right? And they haven't showed any. I don't know if that's what they plan to show, and they said that might be a little bit too much, so they didn't show that and showed it the way it did. But yes, show that eye popped out 100%.
Like,
Damn
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
that's messed up.
Show the townspeople what's up,
If
bro. Show the
if all the
townspeople
stuff
what
goes
is
through the
up.
same, if everyone keeps the same stuff, the old eye patch from the dude from the World War II soldier is still downstairs somewhere. You just go grab the patch, put over the eye. We good to go. Keep it
You
going.
know what I'm saying? They said they did brother dirty. Nikki said, "Y'all keep trusting women like Sarah. That worked out so well for Jonathan Majors."
Ooh, I wasn't ready. Oh my god. Oh, can't be throwing out Johnny
Well,
Majors
Exactly.
up there,
well,
man.
well,
Hey,
here's the thing.
that's T1000 and
Here's the
she
thing.
Exactly.
chased him
You
down. I
you
don't know.
you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies closer. You know what I mean?
Hey,
You don't go
Nah.
too far. But yes, definitely. I think there's a friction in the real world that monitors potential Fromville candidates. Sarah was #1 pick to help out the entity. Could Elgin
first
be
round
Exactly.
pick.
connected
Yeah,
to the skull drinking man?
Facts.
That's an interesting question
I like that.
because the skull drinking man had a missing eye. It was his left eye too. But I
Hmm.
also think that it's because it was Jade's vision. It could have possibly been one of Jade's in his private life or past life. I'm sorry, which also kind of shows that
Yeah, Elgin's been
that
around
Jade,
in everyone.
yeah, and,
Or
and that Jade,
and maybe Jade comes out before you even say it. Maybe Jade comes in and he starts to become evil
hmm
and trying to have
yes,
Elgin
yes,
help him. Like he's
yes.
always been his help.
Yes, 100%.
Oh,
Because they show him drinking the blood, right? And if
yeah.
that's Jade from like a previous life, then that kind of shows me that maybe that's what the sacrifice is. Not only did they have to sacrifice their kids, but they had to drink their blood, which would make sense why that picture in the beginning had the blood in the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So maybe they sacrificed their kids and had to drink the blood as well. And Jade was a part of that. Jade ended up being a part of that.
And
But
then every cycle they
Doesn't
have to
anyone find
sacrifice
it?
somebody
Yeah, listen,
to drink more blood.
that's so true. I haven't mentioned this before, but doesn't anyone else find it suspect that Jade is the one that wanted to save the children? Does Jade seem like the kind of guy who would be
I
like
don't
saving
know.
up the children?
Herman,
I've always
I don't
found that
think Jade. I think Jade is
suspect
on the other end.
immediately.
I think you're right. I think I don't trust Jade. I think Jade is actually on the opposite side. He is not on the good side. I think he's on the evil side. I 100% think that. And I think Boyd is going to have to be the opposite of Jade. Jade is not the good one. Everyone
well,
loves Jade, but yeah, if even if Julie was here, I'd be like, Julie, I don't think Jade's the good one, man. I don't.
which would make sense because Christopher didn't want to do what the boy in white was telling him to do, right? Now it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this town lies and everything like that, which could possibly mean that maybe it's because Jade didn't do what he was supposed to do, or Christopher didn't do what he was going to do that caused anything. But it could also be, like you said, if you look at the past visions, right? One of them was crushed with a stone, one of them was drinking blood. So it's definitely a possibility that in each life, Jade never did what he was supposed to do, even though when he finds out, he says, "We were trying to save the children," right? He says that. But maybe something happens to where he's going to remember, no, I wasn't the one trying to save the children. I was trying to stop Miranda from saving the children. That could be
Facts.
interesting.
I think
PM
so.
PM said, and I seen that you had a channel too there, PM. So good job with that. And if you want to
I actually
drop
think
your link in there,
I've checked it out a couple times because I saw that it was It was on YouTube, right before
Yeah.
we did something, so I was watching it.
If you want to drop your link for people to check it out, no problem. She said, entertain this. Sarah sacrificed her lost soul for Boyd and even for Elgin, as Elgin gets to be a victim of manipulation and can return to live in the town. If Fatima died because of him, he would be at fault. I got you. That makes sense.
Because we didn't know where he
100%.
was, and and he never went back there to go because he didn't want anyone to find out what was going on. Maybe, maybe.
Wait, when
100%.
did the
And that makes
producers
sense.
say that?
He
Say
did.
what?
They,
Go,
they
go, go,
said
go, go, go,
all
go,
the
go.
answers. All the answers are in the first episode that they did.
When did the producers say that?
So all
They
the
did
answers
a,
you're looking for are at the beginning,
yeah,
the
they did
first
say
episode.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
The producers keep saying that all the answers are in the first episode. Not just
They're
in the first
bullshit.
episode. I think it's the first season, but no, they've said that 100%. He said thanks, no problem. It's always a pleasure when people are out here doing from content and keeping this show alive because we got almost 2 years before season 4, so we're gonna do what we gotta do to keep this stuff up and coming.
Two
100%.
years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't it a year?
No,
How long does it take them
2026.
to film this shit?
Well,
These guys
so
I think it's gonna be. I think it's
these
gonna be
guys are
February
monsters.
2026. I think it's gonna be February 2026 if you follow
Okay,
the way
just
it
a
goes.
year.
Yeah,
yeah.
so it'll be a
Well,
year and 3 months.
the reason why
Uh,
Nerdman is because right now they film in Nova Scotia. It's winter, so they can't film in the winter. So they gotta wait till summertime to start filming, right? So they'll start filming in the summertime. They're probably writing the script now for it. They'll start filming in summertime, and then in sometime in 2026 we'll get it. But like you said, I think it's gonna be early 2026.
I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing filming when towards the end of winter. So
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
still look the way it is, and then it gets
yeah,
to
yeah,
warm up, right? So now
yeah,
you'll see it go from cold back to warm because things
yeah.
have happened the way they wanted to happen.
I agree. I agree. Christopher eventually gave in to killing the kids, which is why Miranda told Victor to stay away from him. I agree with you, Golden Child. 100%. It seems like it's all fine and dandy for Jade at first, where it's like, oh, we tried to save the kid. But I believe you're right. I believe Jade ended up saying, you know what, maybe we should sacrifice the kids. And
Because
then Miranda,
he's rational. He thinks about everything and logical things. Logical thought. Just get rid of the kids. That's them kids. That's
yeah, facts. Said, Chad, has anyone watched the show they advertised in the finale? I have not. But if
I
it's
need to.
good, let me know, right?
Yeah, I think I will look at it, but yeah, I have not.
Because when we did the watch party, I didn't have that, right?
Yep.
Mine ended right when the show ended, and I didn't get the extra 10 minutes for the show, so I have no idea what that show is about. But if it's good, I'll definitely check it out. 100%.
I still say that girl, that woman who runs the house is suspect, bro.
A lot of
Donna,
people say Donna. A lot of people say Donna is
I
a double agent.
still I think Donna is suspect. She hasn't heard any voices. She hasn't done anything since. She's always there, just as this moral center. You know what I mean? And if Boyd isn't going to be the one who's the twist to flip, then it's got to be Donna. It's got to be
yeah,
her
no, I
crying
feel
and
you.
all of that stuff.
I
When did
feel
she
you.
cry before? You know what I'm saying? Like she's never
Mm.
cried. Like she's never been that kind of person, and all of a sudden she's feeling emotions and shit. I
See,
just,
She does when
I
her
don't.
talk about her sister. She does it then.
My thing is, I think she's gonna end up being torn between Boyd and Acosta, right? Because I think Boyd and Acosta, Acosta's definitely gonna cause friction, and she's probably gonna have people that agree with her. Boyd's gonna have people that agree with him, and I think Donna might be the voice between the two of them. So I can't remember what it's called, man, and I can't remember what the show is called, to be honest with you.
Hey, Carlo, can you tell us what the show was called again?
Yes, please. Percy Garcia
Was it called
said the way they
Madness? Wasn't it?
No,
So,
no,
Madness is
no,
something
another one.
on Netflix.
Yeah, on Netflix. Percy Garcia said the way they phrased it, they made it seem like maybe they thought the kids would live forever. They say they sacrificed their children because they promised them they would live forever. Oh, that's interesting. And you're right.
Mm.
You're right. The way she said it, it could be maybe sacrificing the kids, thinking the kids would lie. That makes sense. Because you would have to be like Nerdman said, you would have to be some dirty, low down, rotten scoundrels to sacrifice your kid
Kids.
for eternal
Mhm.
life. But now, if you're sacrificing your kids for your kids to get eternal life, and they kind of technically did because they're coming back as ghosts, right? It just didn't work out the way they thought it was. And again, everything
I
in the
don't know.
first
I'd sacrifice my kid for eternal life.
yeah,
Huh?
well, we
What?
know you're not. We know you're not normal. Earth abides. That's
Earth
it.
abides. That is it. It
Earth
is Earth
abides.
I,
Yeah.
abides. Yes.
Donna
I'm sorry.
hasn't
Did I
even
say that
gotten
out
a
loud?
paper. Yes, you did. Donna hasn't even gotten a paper cut since she's been there. Ellis and Fatima were content there, but they still be going through it. But not Donna. She's definitely sus. Ooh, okay.
No, a
You
lot
know,
of people are saying that, man, that she's the one that, she's a double agent. She was able to survive without the talisman. She was able to do all those things. She was the one, really hurting them to the monsters before all this stuff happened. And that's why she still had that the colony house where they were able to do wherever the hell they wanted to do. She was still trying to keep that sin going. So a lot of people are saying that Donna is really the double agent.
wow. You know what? I like the theories you guys are coming up with. I really do like the theories you guys are coming up with. Keep them coming up because I thought Donna was going to be one to die at the end of the season, and she didn't die. So Tilly was the suspect for a long time. We all thought Tilly was sus. I still think Tilly is sus, but definitely a possibility for Donna. 100%. There's definitely a possibility for Donna.
If you like her, you love her, then you know she's suspect.
100%. So they said that.
She's like the guy. Go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
Go. I'm
No, no,
just
no, no.
saying
Go,
she's
go.
like the guy from. She's like the guy from Squid Game. I don't know if you. Have you seen it?
Yes. Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I can spoil it.
The,
Sorry,
the old man
spoilers
you're
if you've
talking,
seen
right?
Squid Game. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen Squid Game, spoilers. Just mute us for like 10 seconds. So the old man, basically, it feels like that. I remember seeing him in the beginning and just thinking, "You're a suspect, bro." I know there's something like there was something about him, but eventually they make you forget about it because he's so cool and he just seems like a nice, innocent old man. And that's the feeling I get from Donna. There was something suspect about her in the beginning. Then it just got more and more like, oh, it's Donna, and you get more and more like you like her.
Invested. Yeah.
And
I
also she's the closest to the main character as well.
Yeah, I agree. Which, and if you watch this first episode again, they didn't like each other, right?
She's also
They
been
had
there
a
the
mutual
longest.
respect, but yeah, she's been there longest. They didn't like each other. They had a mutual respect, but they didn't really like each other. So that's definitely interesting. And he said, I think a hint Donna is a witch. It was when Randall had her tied to the tree like a witch. Oh, that's interesting. That's true. Like burn the witch at the stake. That's interesting, right? Now, let me ask you guys this in the chat too, because we always talk about a mole, but it was Randall that put that mole thought in our head, right? Was
Mhm.
that deliberate for us to really looking at someone as a mole, or was that just something that Randall thought? Like, do we really think that there's a mole? That's the
I do.
question.
I think it has to be a mole. How do
Interesting.
they know
I
what's
think
going
there's
on
going to
in
be a
every room?
twist.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a twist with a character. That's my thing. Like, so whether it's a mole or there's just going to be a turn where you just go, oh shit, that character was always like something. That's what I
hmm
feel like. I don't know about a mole necessarily.
And I'm right there with you too, PM. It said no need for a mole. Am I Moy and Yellow is all powerful? I agree with you 100%. I don't think there's a need for a mole. I
I
think
think there
there
has to be a
has
mole.
to be a mole there. Okay. Uh, I don't think the town
Why do
needs a
you think
mole
that,
per se.
Brian?
They can already hear and see everything. I
But I
agree.
don't know how do you can't hear and see unless you have like cameras inside mirrors and all this stuff. You can't hear and see everything unless someone is telling them what's going on inside the town. It's continuously like putting little seeds of doubt into other people that's continuously to push them apart. Doing something that's going to continuously say something, one little thing that's going to erupt the town. Pretend like you're doing something good, but you're still in the back, just setting it all up.
Absolutely.
I still don't think we've seen the last of that old lady as well, who was trying to help Tilly.
Yeah.
Really?
Or what's her name, Tilly?
Her name was Tilly.
So what?
So what
Tilly
do you
does
think?
come back?
She's gonna come back as one of those ghosts like Tom and Father Patrick?
I don't even think she's dead. That's how
Really?
deep I go. I don't think she's dead. I think there's something. I think she was evil. I think they're gonna bring her back. You're gonna realize she was always like on some bullshit.
Maybe the crows or cicadas can spy somehow. Seems like the man in yellow sees everything. So here's the question, right? And I know we talked about them seeing and hearing everything, but the creatures couldn't find them when they didn't have no talisman. They were just hiding underground.
Exactly.
So they can't really see or hear everything because the creatures couldn't find them, right? If the man in yellow was all seeing and knowing, he may know certain things, but if he's all seeing and knowing, then he would have been able to tell the creatures where to find them, where they're hiding. You know what I mean? So that's interesting for me.
I think
Nikisha
that
said,
they don't know. I'm telling you, they don't know everything. So someone's feeding them information, and then you also have to be able to guide the town the way you want them to go.
interesting. Nikisha said, Brian, you're slipping into silo territory with cameras and mirrors. Yeah, I know, right?
100%.
For Clara to always be reoccurring character, there's a reason they've never explained how she arrived into Fromville. Yeah,
Clara is real
suspect.
suspect.
Yeah, she's suspect because she always showing up when shit's
She
about
had the
to
bite
pop
for
off.
Jay, like all of a sudden here's the bite, ding, ding, and then she knows. Oh no, there's all these bad things that happen to Clara. She's like, darn it. Like all the time. Nikki was talking to Clara. Next thing you know, she gets shot in the face. Like everything that happens, it's all dealing with Clara.
Facts. I think she was punished because she was trying to gain knowledge. Tilly? Yeah, could be. 100%. It's to drive us crazy. The writers want the audience to have the same feeling as the residents from, and it works. People are going mad over the puzzle. Yeah, you got three of us right here doing it right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Actually going back to watch these episodes to see if we can figure out something, anything, right? I want to find out some answers before season 4. They don't want to kill them or find them. Like with Boyd, they can, but for some reason they don't. That's what I'm saying, right? So what you're saying is the creatures didn't actually want to find them at that point, and just maybe if you catch them outside, you get to kill them, right? They're not really looking for them, but at the same time, if you're out there, you're done. That could make sense. How you
Or she
guys
was
feel
feeding
about
them.
Smiley coming back? What's that?
Maybe she was feeding those people to them. The people that she
Ooh.
wants to give them. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you this hiding space. Oh, it's not good hiding space. Oh no.
Ooh, that's interesting. I'll let you answer this one, Brian, and then Nerdman, you can go after that. How you guys feel about Smiley coming back?
That Ish is about to hit the fan. He was coming back and he's going to hit you so hard. He's coming after Boyd. Oh, you thought you could kill me? Oh, I'm coming after your life. Everything. I think they were saving Boyd for Smiley. They're trying to break him, and then now they're saving him for him. Now that Smiley's back, Boyd might be on the menu. He can't just get away with stuff he was getting away with before. You can't just kill me and think that everything's gonna be okay. So I think that's gonna be part of the problem. You can't do those things. I think he's gonna do that. While you're doing that, I did want to put in PM philosophy. She's been doing things for I've seen at least a couple of these videos. So just saying, check out everybody. Look at everyone's their videos for all these things. I think it's really cool. And she did I think a funeral for Jim, and it was like a requiem for Jim. So saying goodbye to Jim. So I thought that was very funny. And she did it like
See, you guys were happy about that, weren't you? I bet you guys were happy about that. Poor Jim. What did he
Actually,
do
you know
to
what? We
anybody?
kind of we actually kind of felt bad for Jim towards the end. You know what I mean? It's like before they killed him, it's like, yeah, Jim gotta go. And then when they did it, I was like, damn, they killed Jim. Like,
Yeah.
bad for the man, you know.
Exactly.
You
Exactly. I was
guys,
like, man.
why are you feeling bad now?
So
Keep
I
your
realized
style
the
the same.
Tabitha's
Keep
really the
that
problem.
energy the same,
Yeah,
bro. You
I
guys
realized
were
Tabitha's
you was
really the problem.
absolutely,
poor
100%.
guy trying to look after his kids and wife, and you guys are just like, oh,
Oh,
he's
yeah, he
a
was doing the wrong
toxic
thing.
man and shit. Come on, bro.
No, I said from the beginning, he's a toxic guy. She's a toxic woman.
Absolutely. Brian, do you have
And
the
then
link for the channel?
I have her channel up there. I don't have a link
Okay, no, hold
up.
on. Found it. I got it. Guys, there are a lot of people
Anyway,
out here doing from. Go ahead, Nerdman.
yeah, I was gonna say about Smiley coming back. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think Boyd this might be the worst season yet for Boyd. I don't see Smiley taking that lightly that he killed him. And yeah, he might come after his kids, bro.
You see, that's the
I
question
think
that I
I think
asked.
he's got.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Come
No,
after
go ahead.
Because
Go
I
ahead.
think
Go
his
ahead.
kid is
Ellis.
his kid has been Ellis has been on a lifeline for a long time, bro. He has no real plot armor. Like this, you could see him easily go from the show. You know what I'm saying? Or his girlfriend, and it wouldn't like even I think Ellis more so, but like you don't necessarily need him around in the show. I think
So,
Smiley
you,
goes after him.
so you think Smiley's going after Ellis?
Ellis,
Yeah.
Kenny, and Fatima.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the boy. I think the Smiley's gonna want revenge. Definitely, 100%. Boyd not all the way out that cellar he was in. Boyd equals broken.
Broken.
I think. I
Mhm.
think. Yeah, I think they got to him. I think they really did get to him at one point. You know what I mean?
But Sarah
Um.
did save his soul. I do believe
Yeah.
that.
Me too. Me too. Man in yellow monsters don't eat food, so they have to consume something. Fear and
Fear and
despair.
despair.
Absolutely. I also think they could, because when Fatima was pregnant, she was craving blood. So I do think the creatures drink blood, though. I do think they have to drink blood, which makes sense as to why they keep taking the organs. But again, we still haven't seen what they've done with that, so I'm not gonna just run out and say, "Oh yeah, they drink blood," and be wrong again. But I do think that they do definitely need to. They may not have to do it often, right? But I do think they might need to drink blood. Boyd might get trapped down there if they don't do any time skips for season 4. That's gonna be
Someone's got to
interesting.
go save him. I think someone's going to go save him.
Yeah, I agree. Smiley liked that game though. Yeah, Smiley does like the game. I agree with you. But I also think that even though he likes the game, he wants to win, right? And
Mm.
I think he's going to do whatever he can to try and he might try to kill Boyd. Boyd might be his number
Hmm.
one guy he's trying to go for. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Now he's gonna want to torture him first, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
he's
I
not
think
gonna
so.
just gonna want to kill him. He's gonna want to torture him first.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I think
He wants to draw Boyd out into like a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
where
yeah.
Boyd just loses it and is like, oh yeah, all right, I'm gonna come out and like deal with
Does
you. You know
Boyd
what
go
I'm
back to
saying?
Martin? Does he figure out a way to go back to Martin and get some more of that blood?
I
My
think
blood is your
so,
blood.
I think someone's gonna go back to Martin. I don't know who yet. Maybe Julie, because the way he said Julie's name, I think Julie's gonna end up
Julie,
going
what's
back to
up?
talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Mm.
it's
All
interesting.
right, I'm gonna peace out, guys. But good discussion. I'll be listening. Gonna do some work, but
Yeah, no problem.
peace
We're
out.
gonna close it up now. Anyways, 2.5 hours. I know Brian has to get to another stream as well, guys. In the comments, leave us your questions. Leave us what you want us to look for, right? What answers you think we can find or whatever. Please, please. It makes it a lot easier if I can go in the comments and be like, "Oh, this is a good question. Let me go and put this on the list." Right. Next week
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday we will be doing episode 2 as well. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna see if we can find more questions and more answers. We'll have the whiteboard up and ready to go. I put 3 channels: Spoiler King's PM's channel and Julie's channel in the chat. I know a lot of you guys already sub to these guys, but if you're not, make sure you sub to them. All of them do great content. Ant said, maybe the monsters don't let Smiley kill Boyd, though, because if their goal was to break Boyd and have him cause chaos as the leader, then they can't do that if he's dead. You know what? I agree with you 100%. That's why I'm thinking more
But
going
Smiley might
after
be the leader.
Fatima.
But Smiley
It-
might be the leader of them,
That's yeah.
and then they don't get to say nothing.
That could be a possibility too. Or I think they will more or less go after Fatima because she's still alive, and they're gonna go after Ellis, right? So I think those are the two
I
people
definitely
that
see
they'll
Ellis.
go
I can
after.
see Kenny somehow too.
Yeah, Kenny too. Kenny
Don't let
too.
Kenny go with Costa, right?
Yeah,
And then leave Boyd, and then kill Kenny. They kill the whole family. Whole family gone.
I agree. I agree. And then that'll be what they do to break Boyd. I think if worse comes to worse, Boyd will be the last one they try to kill after all of that stuff is going down, right? So if they take care of Fatima and they take care of Elgin, then Ellis, then I think Boyd will be next.
To be fair, Ellis is like the dad. That's must
Yeah.
mom.
It was kind of goofy how they brought Smiley back, but he's such an interesting character. I didn't care. I don't actually think it was goofy. I think it explained a lot, right?
Mhm.
Because even and we'll get to that episode too, where it's like, okay, so when did Fatima become pregnant? I think she became pregnant
He
the
died.
moment he died. Yeah, yeah, the moment he died. So that's gonna be interesting. Said thanks for the stream. Hope everyone has a good night. Thank you for watching. Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Nikisha. I
Nikisha.
always
One
appreciate it.
hundred percent. And said Fatima is safe. She's the mama. Yeah, I know. And guys, memes are crazy, right? Because I go online, you see the meme of Ellis, you see Fatima, and then
Ellis
you see
holding the man, Smiley on his shoulders, walking around, probably
Facts.
with a little baby red balloon.
100%. Peace out, guys. Like I said, thank you for popping in. Much appreciated. We will be back next week to break down episode 2, see what else we can find in that. Um, she said, thanks. This was great. No, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we can't say it enough, man. We just here having fun, and you guys coming in here and keeping conversation going and everything. I appreciate that more than anything right now, you know? So thank you guys. Much appreciated. Brian, tell the people where they can find you one more time.
Once again, I'm 1/3 of the Spoiler Kings. We do Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We do live shows. On Saturday, we focus just on Silo. We're going to be breaking down episode 4. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and actually, I got turned on by the FROMILY for Silo. So I'm gonna do that, and then Yellow Jack's is coming. So then I have to get onto that too. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming in here, and make sure we support Nzo. He's the one that got us all doing this. So yeah, that's the man right there.
I'm just a squirrel in this world trying to get a nut, man. That's it. All these guys that come in here and chill with me, man. Like, at the end of the day, you sit around and when it first started, like, who would watch me? And then I see people enjoying the content and also getting, people like Brian and everybody meeting new friends. This has been a great journey, and this show has been absolutely great. So I thank you on that. And Ty said he loves Silo. So make sure you sub to the Spoiler Kings. All right. The channel, I put the channel description there in the chat, and it's also in the description. So sub to them because they be doing Silo every week, and it's great. Trust me, it's great. Like I said, everybody, you guys are all great. PM, Julie, Brian, not Nerd Man, but everybody else, you guys are absolutely great. So with that being said, we are going to close it up. Thank you very much. Don't worry, I'm going to have a new intro by next week. I just didn't have time to do it, but I'm going to have a new intro.
We're going to do
for the
episode
last
2
season.
next week. That would be great.
Yeah. Episode 2 next week, Tuesday night, 8 EST, 7 PST. Make sure you check it out. Thank you, everybody, again. Peace, love, and hair grease, and we'll see you on the next one.
Once the baby